County Executive and Homa Bay County Assembly, to the Senate and to the Public Accounts Committee. We have spent the first 1.5 hours getting a brief from the Office of the Auditor General and the other stakeholders that we work with. We now want to go to the formal part, where we shall get the responses from the Homa Bay County government. But if you recall, we had not adopted the agenda. So let me place the agenda being consideration of the report of the Auditor General on Homa Bay County Executive, Homa Bay Receive of Revenue, Homa Bay County Revenue Fund for the period ended 30th June 2025. Can I get a proposer?
Chair, I propose.
Thank you, Senator Wambua.
Chair, second.
Thank you, Senator Sifuna. Very quickly, we'll do a round of introduction so that we know who is in the room. I'll start with the senators present.
Good morning, Governor and your delegation. My name is Jones Maruma, Senator representing Taita Taveta, Vice Chair to this committee.
Thank you, Chair, Governor, Homa Bay and your delegation. My name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi. I'm a member of this committee. Welcome to Nairobi.
Thank you, Chair members, Governor, and your delegation. My name is Enoch Wambua, Senator Gitui. I'm a member of this committee. Karibu.
Senator Cherargei, you could go on record.
Sorry, Chair Cherargei Kiprotich is my name. Senator of the Republic of Kenya, representing the great people of Nandi. Chair, and it is exciting that your county is appearing today. So we are raring to go.
Karibu. The clerk supporting the committee.
I'm going to deputy clerk.
Committee clerk.
Good morning, Joan Mahinda, Research.
Good morning, Malcolm Gogi, Legal Counsel.
Good morning, Shalim Simbi, Hansard Officer.
John Perez, Sergeant at Arms.
Chair, that's all from us.
You're welcome. The Office of the Auditor General.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Muriku Patrick, the liaison officer.
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Member. My name is Dr. Simon Abosu from the Office of Auditor General. Thank you, Chair. My name is Boniface Singira from Office of Auditor General.
Karibuni. The National Treasury. I thought I saw Dr. Ndongo somewhere.
Chair is stepped out, but he'll be joining us.
Be coming back in. Okay. ESCC.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Christine Well from ESCC. Thank
Karibu.
you.
Karibu. Clerk, did we invite the County Assembly of Homa Bay?
Yes, Chair, we did, and I can confirm the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee is in the room. Thank you.
Okay. Chairperson, Homa Bay County Assembly, Public Accounts Committee.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Honorable Waka Nicholas. I chair Public Account and Investment Committee, Homa Bay County. Thank you.
Are you accompanied by any member of your committee or a clerk?
No, Chair.
Okay, fine. You're welcome. We go to the executive. Governor Homa Bay, please go on record.
Thank you, Chair, Honorable Senators. My name is Gladys Wanga, Governor of Homa Bay, and I'd like to ask my team to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. I'm Solomon Obiero, the CC member for Finance.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dennis Onyango, as he is in charge of roads and DG designate.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Paul Oso, Director ICT. Thank you.
It would help because some of you are sitting in a blind spot, so I might not be able to see you. If you can just stand as you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Paul Oso, Director ICT for Homa Bay County. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Irina Dika, the Acting Director, HRMD.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. I'm Martin Opere, the Acting CC Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development, but substantively CC Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dr. John Agili. I'm the CCM in charge of water, sanitation, environment, forestry, energy, and climate change. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. I'm Professor Bernard Mook. I'm the County Secretary and Head of Public Service.
Morning, Chair. My name is Dr. Lo Joash, the County Executive Committee member for Agriculture, Livestock Production and Irrigation, and also acting in the Department of Trade, Investment, Tourism, Industrialization, Cooperative Affairs, and Youth Affairs. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Malit Sarah, the CCM for Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining, and Digital Economy. Thank you.
Morning, Chair and honorable members. My name is Grace Masio-Sewe, CCM for Public Health and Medical Services. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman and members. My name is Frederick Orego, County Attorney.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Alphonse Wera, Chief Officer for Finance.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Okelo Sita, Head of Accounts, Bay County.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Daniel Anyango, County Internal Auditor.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Elijah Dede, Chief Officer for Roads, Public Works and Transport, and also CCM Designated for Trade, Investment, Industry, Cooperative Development, and Youth Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Engineer Bernard Nyobange, Chief Officer for Trade, Industry, Investment, Tourism, and Marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. I'm Isaiah Okoto, Public Service Board Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Ruth Achim, CEO of the Public Service Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Judith Ombok, Chief Officer in charge of Agriculture and Irrigation. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Charles Obondo, Chief Officer for Housing and Urban Development.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Dr. Tobias Konyango, Chair of the Revenue Board.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Brian Matete, Director Revenue.
I believe that is it for the delegation accompanying the governor.
Yes, Chair.
Fine. I think if there are others who have not introduced themselves, there must be members of the Fourth Estate and perhaps parliamentary staff. We'll proceed to the next order, which is...
On preliminary? Or she takes the oath, then...
Yeah, we will proceed with the administration of oath and tabling of documents.
I, Gladys Wanga, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Mr. Chairman, sir, I hereby table the following documents before the committee. The management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the County Executive for the year 2024-2025. Management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue statements for the County Executive for the financial year 24-25. Management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the County Revenue Fund for the County Executive for the financial year 2024-2025. Thank you.
May I find out from the Auditor General whether you have reviewed the documents and you are able to proceed?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We confirm that we received the responses and the supporting evidences, and we are ready to continue.
And Clerk of the Senate?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm we received the documents on 9th June as prescribed in our letter inviting Homa Bay County to appear before this committee today. Thank you.
Okay, so before we proceed, in our invitation letter, we conveyed the decision of the Senate on the Tuesday, the 31st of March 2026, during which the Senate considered the report of the County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the County Executive of Homa Bay for financial year 2024-2025, the report of the Receiver of Revenue, and the report on the County Revenue Fund. Just to summarize, the Senate adopted the report of the Auditor General as is, because the County Executive of Homa Bay did not present themselves before the committee. Secondly, the Senate resolved to invite the Governor of Homa Bay to appear before this committee to provide an outline of measures being taken to close the non-conformances highlighted by the Auditor General. And thirdly, the Senate resolved to impose a fine of 500,000 shillings on the Governor in her personal capacity. I want to find out from the Clerk of the Senate whether the fine of 500,000 has been paid.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the fine of 500,000 has already been paid.
I think if that is the case, then we should be able to proceed to consider the measures taken by the County Executive of Homa Bay to close the issues raised by the Auditor General. Since the Public Accounts Committee Chair of the County Assembly is present, let me find out whether, as a County Assembly, you have considered the report on the County Executive, the report on the Receiver of Revenue, and the report on the County Revenue Fund, and whether the House has made any resolutions.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We've done so and forwarded the same deliberations to the Senate. Thank you.
Clerk, are you in receipt of the resolution of the House on the three reports?
Chair, I've not cited those resolutions, but I'll check them out, then get back to the committee.
Okay, I think going forward it would be very useful if the time the notice is received for this appearance, if the Assembly has made a resolution, that those resolutions are shared with the Senate early, so that we don't ask the same questions twice. So if they had been circulated earlier, they would have formed the basis, or they would have formed part of our conversation today.
However, it's good to know if they were done within the statutory timelines of March 31st, because then we cannot consider them if they're done outside that timeline.
What was the date of adoption?
They were done within the timeline, and the same was forwarded, I believe so.
Okay, I think when we retreat to write our report, we'll make reference to the report of the County Assembly, but that does not stop us from proceeding with our inquiry today. Unless there is any preliminary matter, and looking at the time, knowing that by 2:30 we should be in the chamber, Senator Chirarge?
Chair, you know, wage bill in most counties, including Homa Bay County, is quite high. But I know that's an issue. My only concern, Governor, I've noticed you have an unusually high number of your senior officers as acting capacity. So my question is why, and number two, whether there is a functional County Public Service Board. So if you can answer why most of them are acting. And I find it strange that there is somebody who's introduced himself as DG's designate. So I don't know what that stands for. If you can highlight, because the issue of HR is very critical. And if you find people acting capacity, of course, under the law, they have limitation of execution. So, Governor, can you give us the reason as to why a number of your senior delegation are in acting capacity?
Can I give guidance that there's a substantive audit finding on employees on acting capacity for periods exceeding 6 months? We can address that when we get to that substantive matter. Okay. Thank you, Senator. So let's go to the report of the Auditor General, starting with the report on the County Executive. And time allowing, we'll also be able to look at the Receiver of Revenue report. Auditor General, what was your opinion?
Thank you, Chair. The opinion is qualified opinion.
Auditor General, read out your opinion, and then we go to the basis of the opinion.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The report of the financial year 2024-25 and the report of financial settlements is qualified opinion. And the basis of the qualified opinions, one is the issue of the motor vehicles without
Okay,
logbook.
so let me give guidance now that you have read out the opinion, because you had spent almost 1.5 hours with a brief. There are issues that we have already gotten a brief, having perused the responses from the county. So your first issue was 3 motor vehicles without logbooks. Do you now have the logbooks? Because this is a very straightforward matter.
Here we have logbooks and the issue has already been addressed.
And in your view as an auditor, this is a matter that has been addressed.
Yes.
I know there could be many questions why they were not produced during the time of audit and all that, but I think we have got section 62 of the Public Audit Act, which we will be making recommendations on. But because there are much more substantive issues in this report, I think since during that brief, the Auditor General has told us the matters addressed, maybe let's tick them, and then we can deal with the global issue on why documents were not provided during the time of audit. So the logbooks have been provided. Unsupported expenditure on Kindu Bay Showground Wall.
Thank you, Chair. The payment voucher has already been provided and the issue has also been addressed.
So you had requested for a payment voucher, which was not present at the time of audit, but it has been subsequently produced.
Yes.
In terms of verification, in terms of dating of the payment voucher, what assurance are you giving the Senate as to the authenticity of that payment voucher?
Chair, we confirm that the payment voucher is authentic, and we have also confirmed in terms of the approvals that has already been done, and there's an appendix for that.
Okay. Unsupported expenditure on fuel usage.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This has also been addressed. There's a Department of Fuel register that has already been provided and detailed, and that again, there's an Appendix 3A which supported that.
But when you say that instructions were given verbally, how is that corrected? How has the county corrected that? Are they correcting going forward, or just?
And at this point, I think, Chair, it is good to know why the documents, if they were there, on the expenditure of fuel, why they were not produced during the time of audit. Then we can deal globally with that justification, because the law requires justification.
Okay, since we've been fairly efficient and we've already ticked off about 2 or 3 issues, maybe let's put this to the test. We ask the Auditor General to read his finding, and then the county government to respond, and then we just see whether the measures put in place address the concern therein. Auditor, please read your finding there.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. 2.1, unsupported expenditure on the fuel usage. Included in this balance of Kenya shilling 43,461,651 incurred on fuel, oil, and lubricants. However, review of the fuel management controls and the procedure revealed that the county executive did not issue detailed orders for the purpose of authorizing and managing the drawing of the fuel at the petrol station. The instruction to draw the fuel were given verbally with no record being maintained for comparison between the supplier invoice and the amount fuel actually drawn. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness and the validity of the expenditure of Kenya shilling 43,461,651 on fuel, oil, lubricant could not be confirmed.
Governor, you may read your response.
Management wishes to state that the expenditure of Kenya shillings 43,461,651 on fuel, oil, and lubricants were fully supported by all requisite approvals in accordance with the PFM County Government's Regulations 2015. The approvals included authorization by designated officers and approved detailed orders supported by work tickets and supplier receipts, all of which were duly recorded in the fuel registers. An extract of fuel register and sample detailed orders have been availed for audit verification. Appendix 3A, Departmental Fuel Register extracts, detailed orders, work tickets, and fuel receipts. And 3B is administrative action, which is memo on fuel management and warning letter for failure to submit documents. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Auditor, since you are our eye on the ground, you said that the county did not issue detailed orders for the purpose of authorizing and managing the drawing of fuel at the petrol station. Now you're telling us it is now resolved. Which appendix resolves it?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. If you look at the Department of Fuel Register and the detailed orders, which also has now the approvals, you see at the point of the audit, we requested this information and it has not been availed. So for us, of course, the vehicle has to draw the fuels. So that support of that documentation is missing. But look at that Appendix 3A, where there's a Department of Fuel Registers and detailed orders. That already clarified, and also the work tickets has given some assurance.
Chair, we can't see the separate 3A.
No, it's in document Appendix 1, 24C. Now, I just wanted to follow up on the audit. You said they produced a sample of a card for withdrawing the fuel. Did you say that? Because what is on 3A, it's only the internal memo.
Through the chair.
I have it here.
3A.
Yeah, what I can see is only the internal memo signed by Solomon Obiero. Now, if I may follow up, Governor, apart from the internal memo, you have something like a kind of card for each vehicle, because that could be assisting you to control the usage of fuel, to go to the petrol station to fuel your vehicle. Do you have anything like that? Thank you, Chairman.
Just a minute, Governor. Senator Sifuna.
Maybe she can take both together. Governor, from your response, you're basically telling us that county government vehicles are fueled on a phone call, or how is it done? Just explain to us. Because you're saying, the auditor is saying the instructions to draw fuel were given verbally. And I heard you saying that there were designated people who make those phone calls or who have to go physically to those petrol stations and essentially say, Jaza hii 200, or something like that. So just clarify for me what the process is there, and then how we can be able to know that these people are authorized to give that.
Senator Chirake?
Chair, I've seen a number of being issued by, I think, us petrol station. So the governor should give us, because I've seen a number are on us petrol station, the pre-qualification process, or how many companies are supposed to supply fuel. And Senator Nairobi has said whether there is a specific issuance of card. And Chair, with your indulgence, on the previous question on Kendube, I have seen in the response of the governor, he has only accounted for 10 million against 21 million. So I'm requesting with your indulgence, if we dispense of this matter, she can go back, because from her response, and like what, she can only account for 10 million against 21 million for the Kendube ward. So I wanted you to note so that we can go back. Thank you. I yield back, Chair.
Just for order, Chair, in 3A, I'm not able to see the separate file.
Blank,
maybe
actually.
the governor can point us to that separate file. Oh, separate. Oh, that is the one. Okay, okay. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, you may. So sorry, Senator Wambua.
So, Chair, mine would just be maybe a simple one on the invoices. Governor, the invoices that I'm seeing from Appendix 3A, all of them, actually I think without exception, are from a single service provider or contractor or petrol station. I don't know, maybe this is the only one that supplies fuel to vehicles in the county government of Homa Bay. You just explained that, that's fine.
Okay, it would be useful, even as you respond, to also take us through just explain what Appendix 3A means, because I'm seeing some documents that are either ineligible or blank. But you can respond to the earlier questions raised by the senators.
Thank you, Chair. What we are providing in Appendix 3A in response to the auditor's question on how the fuel process happens is we are providing the extracts of departmental fuel register extracts, detailed orders, which is what you use to go and fuel, not via a phone call, work ticket, which the drivers provide, and fuel receipts. So what we have provided here is evidence that there is a process, and we provided them department by department. Not all of them, but extracts of them, that there is a process that each department has for purposes of acquiring fuel. On the issue of the invoices, yes, there is invoices from the Haas Petroleum, there are invoices from Zamzam petrol station, there are invoices from Shell. These are the petrol stations that are predominantly in Homa Bay. So it is not a single, petrol station. CC Finance, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, and as CC Finance response, you probably want to even take a sample, because I can see the first placeholder here is education, and then just help us understand what those pages with regards to education, what you're trying to say, and how it confirms the process. CC?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, with respect to education, on the first page, we have the voucher number, the account details, the item description, that is the product that we are consuming from the particular petrol station. Chair, it indicates the payee, which is the person giving the product, and the payment date and amount. And that is the Department of Education. Chair, the second page, just under the Department of Education, we have a payment voucher, which has now been drawn in favor of Haas Petroleum, who have been given us a supply of fuel, oil, and lubricants.
CC, the concern was initiation.
Yes.
The concern was initiation. So PV comes at the end.
Thank you.
The receipts come at the end. Can you demonstrate that the initiation was not verbal, as the auditor says?
Thank you, Chair. If we go to still under education, the first detail order in favor of Haas Petroleum, this detail order is drawn from the department, and the person that is going to draw fuel needs to go.
Which is a detailed order? It's on which?
Chair, after the payment voucher.
How many pages after?
Payment voucher are 2 pages, so the third page.
Okay, so you can explain that.
So the document that authorizes one to draw fuel from the petrol station is a detail order. This detail order is developed from the department, and it's duly approved to enable one to go, to enable a driver to go draw fuel from the petrol station.
Help me understand, CEC, because I can see that detail order you're speaking of. Is it the number 3117268?
Yes, Senator.
How do I know which vehicle is going to be fueled?
Chair, the vehicle that is going to fuel
from that document of yours.
First, the LPO number that is referenced,
Yes.
43 81 567, will be indicating, when we go to that, will be indicating a particular vehicle, but also on the invoice, the vehicle that has fueled, the vehicle registration number is...
We are at initiation.
Yes, we are still at
We just want to understand the process.
Yeah.
this detail order, how do I know it is for 43 CG 036A?
Chair, it is supposed to be on, it is on the detail order actually, but where the stamp is for the Department of Education, you can see a 43 somewhere. Unfortunately, it is not very clear, but that 43 is exposed with the invoice down here, 43 CG 036A. Yes.
Is there any other detail order which is clearer, so that we are not hypothesizing that it's supposed to be where the stamp is?
In fact, you have put the stamp on all those invoices, you have put the stamp where we're supposed to see the vehicle number. Is it a coincidence?
And even, Chair, the way the payment voucher has been written, it's less because even on the words they have just written 200. You know, but they only in numbers they have written 200,000, but in writing is 200. We don't know whether it's 200,000 or 200 in payment. So even if you look at the payment voucher CC, and you are the ones who write, this is laziness. The one on after the third, after even the first one, in your separate document.
Okay. Is there any order that you can refer to that?
Yes, Chair.
Can you use this one to explain to me? 3117278. Voucher, I think is the last detail order.
Before blue economy.
Before blue economy. Before blue economy. So that we understand the process.
So, thank you, Honorable Senator. Thank you, Chair. So 43 CG 253A is on the detail order. Detail order number 3117278. The vehicle is drawing diesel. The date that the vehicle has gone to draw. The name of the vendor. And the amount of fuel that is drawn in liters. After that detail order, we have an invoice that the vendor gives, which will go to the file.
What's the amount of the invoice?
70 liters.
The amount
of money.
This is supposed to be 11,000.
But it says
13,288.
But it is wrapped there, 11,627, even it says 700 liters.
Sorry,
But
Chair.
from the invoice.
Thank you, Chair, Honorable Senator. These things are handwritten.
You see, can you breathe in and out so that you can answer properly? You are confusing us.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. The 13,288 is the value of the fuel drawn for 70 liters at a cost of 166.
Chair, with your permission. Can I give you my copy? Because I think maybe you have a clearer copy for us to follow what you're saying. Because on the face of that invoice, and Governor, you can just look at it. There's a problem with that invoice. Where are you reading? Because mine actually, from where I sit, it says 700 liters. It has been, what is it called? Amended. The total amount there, I can't even make out what this figure is, Chair. The only figure that is clear here is 13,288 in the middle of the invoice. But at the bottom there it says total, CC. Do you have a better copy than mine?
Honorable Chair and Senator, we have, I think, the same copy, I believe. And the fuel drawn from the detail order is 70 liters. This invoice could have not been 700 because from the detail order it is indicated 70 liters. So the service provider can only give us a maximum.
So, Chair.
CC, don't defend the indefensible. There's a problem with this invoice, and the more you try to explain it, the more questions you're going to get. There's obviously a problem here. So
let us stick to your 70 liters. CC. Yeah. The unit cost is what? From your record, it's 166.1. Is it?
6.1 times.
Zero.
Yes.
Read the unit cost for me.
The unit cost is 166.1.
Now multiply 166.1 by 70. What do you get?
We get, that will give us 166.1
times 70.
70.
What do you get?
166.
Just read, I mean, what you get is what you get, you know? 166.1 times 70.
11,000. 166.1 times 70. 11,627.
What is your figure in the invoice?
13,288.
What do you get the variance?
Chair, what I can see from the face of this invoice, there is a rubbing there, so it's 11,627 on the end, but then 13,288 in the middle. So there is obviously a discrepancy between what is at the end column and in the middle of the invoice. So I think there is a discrepancy on that invoice. But Chair, coming back to the process, which was the question, and I see that discrepancy between the two figures, and I think the vendor who gave the invoice made that error, and it was attached here right from the vendor without them correcting it. But in terms of the process of getting fuel, and in terms of coming back to what the auditor had raised, the fuel is not collected by phone call. It is collected through a detailed order that is given to the vendor by the department. The detailed order, I think earlier what Senator Sifuna had asked, what on that detailed order shows the car that is going to collect the fuel. I think the detailed order has the space for the number plate of the car and the liters and the department that is collecting the fuel. Thank you, Chair, and we have noted that error in the invoice.
Senator Dulo.
Governor, Governor, the query is very clear. There is no proper mechanisms in place in controlling the usage of fuel, and that is very clear. And I don't actually accept or allow the CEC and the staff to mislead you. Because if you look at the invoice that attached from us, even towards the end of the documents, or rather the invoices to trade, they're not even very clear, you see? So if your document is very clear and transparent, the invoice should be also very clear, because they are not clear, those invoices. Again, most of the listing that is done for the vehicles and the ones that are drawn, they are handwritten. We know very well anything handwritten can be changed anytime. So I think you need to look into this and see how you can put proper control mechanisms in place that can assist you in drawing fuel, or also accounting for fuel consumption within the county. I thank you, Chair.
Chair, for me, I think I still need to hear from the Auditor General, because you are the one who has raised this query. Where did you experience these orders that were being made verbally? Number two, Governor, this Appendix 3A is supposed to explain to us. For instance, I've seen what your team has tried to do, is that there's a detailed order that is supposed to correspond with an invoice. Yeah, but it is very, very confusing, Governor. This one should actually raise the alarm with you that your team is trying to be clever with us. And you see, we get very upset when we see that. if it is possible, CEC, I just want to demonstrate one final thing. That there is a detail order number 3117283. I don't know if you can find it. And unfortunately, this time round, Governor, you did not paginate your document, so we have to find it slowly. 3117283. Are we together? Yeah. First of all, Governor, just look at that detail order. Just look at it the way it looks. First, you notice the famous stamp is not on this one. We were told a story of a stamp that was covering up the number of the vehicle. So, if you look at the quantity there, what figure is that? I can see the word petrol, CEC. What is the figure on that detail order? The amount of fuel that is going to be sourced. Can you see it from your copy? That's a 5. Well, I can make it out on mine. What is the registration number of that vehicle?
43 CG 247A.
Where is that 4 and 7 coming from? Because my copy doesn't have any of that.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. I think
you are reading the invoice. You're not reading the order.
We have 43 CG 247, except at the time of probably making a copy for this file, the 7 is missing, but it seems cut. It's evidently that it is cut out of just a photocopy place error. My apologies.
Okay, so whose signature is that? Because all the others have been seeing, at least there is a reason, there's somebody who's being quoted there, HB Education or something like that. Whose signature is that one on 3117283?
This is the signature of the person from the Department of Education authorized to to approve fuel withdrawal.
How many do you have in that department? How many people are authorized to do this document?
I think we have a maximum of 2 because 1 can be out of office per department.
On this 3117283, who is the person who signed? Can you tell?
I would love to consult my colleague from the Department of Education.
Finally, what is the date on that 3117283?
22nd of May, 2025.
Where is the 5? Again, it was left out.
No, it's not left out, Senator, but I think it's just to do with the copies that were made, being that the detail order document, the color is yellow. When you make many copies, such errors are bound to occur when you make many copies.
Okay, we are taking a lot of time on this matter. It's 42 million out of almost 13 billion expenditure for this year. And when you look at the time, because Governor, what was the reason for attaching the internal memo and the letter by the CEC dated 2nd of February 2026? The reason why you're having a problem with the senators is your response to indicate that everything is okay. They are struggling to show you where the gaps are. And I can see your officers did a memo recommending or saying administrative action shall be taken and reminding all officers of the procedures. If you would have confined yourself to the measures you are taking to improve the process, that would have been good enough. But if the position is that the process is perfect, then you're going to get a lot of queries on the substance before us. So if it's a perfect exercise, then I'll allow my senators to ask questions. But if it's work in progress and that is your submission, then we can keep some things in view. But let me hear from Senator Cherargei first.
No, Chair, looking at even blue economy, the entire invoices that has been provided by one of the petrol stations, I think, is not readable. So, and then looking at the discrepancy, Governor, of this amount, it might look small. But how many Kenyans can get 2,000 per day? So it is, Chair, it looks like this thing was manufactured, unless proven otherwise. And in fact, I don't know who is Robert Nyasuna. This Robert Nyasuna, I thought it's somebody who works for the county, and Governor, they must do due diligence, because these are very critical. So, Governor, maybe you would consider striking out these invoices which are not readable until you get so that it can form basis of answering this question.
Okay, members, to ensure that we are not bogged down as in an audit, because the facts as presented indicate there's a problem.
Yeah, finally,
unless the governor disputes.
Just finally for me, I am not convinced when the CEC says there is only 2 people designated. Because just from the sample of those same documents, if you just look at the signatures, from 311, 72, 83 to 82 to 78, those are at least 3 distinct signatures, CEC. So my expectation, Governor, would be to see a document of designation saying in this department, Sifuna is authorized to issue these detailed orders so that we can be able to compare. From my reading here, there is more than one person signing these documents. It's creating a problem, Chair.
Okay, Governor.
Chairman, I wanted to concur with you that the reason why we appended the memos and the administrative action is because of continuous improvement of the process, including the testing of the CAD system or any other system that can do. What we wanted to demonstrate by these documents was that there is a process that is not necessarily verbal. There is a detailed order and an invoicing process, but it is not a perfect process. It is a work in progress, and that is why the CEC has written a memo reminding the officers that they must adhere to the strict process in the management of fuel.
So members, this is a matter that, because the in-year audit, I think, is beginning, Auditor General, you must also be more rigorous, because you had advised us earlier that the matter is resolved, but upon testing, you find that there are variances. This is a matter that you must remain open, and you must adequately look at in the next cycle of audits. Senator Muruma.
Chair, maybe because the auditor has marked it as addressed, and we need to agree with him to resolve it because of the part of justification why the documents were not given during the time of audit. Maybe the CEC, I think, who is the person supposed to give the documents, can in 1 or 2 sentences tell us where the documents were, if they are there, why they're not given, and then
okay, I think that warrants a very brief answer. I'm very, very conscious of the time.
Thank you, Senator. Appendix 3B. Appendix 3B. We've taken administrative action on the officers that didn't avail the documents to the auditor on time.
Yeah.
Yes, 3B, administrative action. So it's 3B. 3B.
The question asked is different from the answer you are giving, because the senators asked where were the documents at the time of audit and why were they not produced, because administrative action is taken at the tail end. But since we have agreed that this is a matter that remains open, it's not resolved as indicated by the Auditor General, we'll keep the matter in view and ask the Auditor General to do a more thorough analysis. But then again, Governor, internally, you have seen some of the weaknesses in terms of record keeping, and it's something that you need to go back and have a conversation with your team on to ensure that it's a much more foolproof exercise. Now, members, I'd ask that we move on to the next issue. There's an issue of payment of electricity bills.
Chair, with your indulgence,
Senator Cherake.
I know the OAG had said 21.27 million had been accounted for the expenditure of Kendu Bay showground wall. But looking at the management response, the governor says that she can only account for 10.4 million. So my question is, although the governor indicates that the program, the construction is ongoing, then what is the fate of the other 10 million? Because looking at the management response, if the governor can clarify that, or is it that the OAG should have clarified on 10.4 million instead of 21.2 million in the payment of Kendu Bay showground wall?
Okay, this is straightforward. Governor, the amount queried was 21 million. In your response, you have talked of 10.4 million. What happens to the remaining 11 million?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the contract sum was 21,217,151. The project is ongoing, and the amount that has been paid is 10,411,561. That is what we indicated in the response. And the project is still ongoing.
Auditor General, when you say 21 million was spent, does that mean that there was evidence of actual payments of 21 million?
No, sure, that was the contract sum amount. You know, if you look in terms of the disclosures, the 21,217 was the contract sum for the Kindu Bay Showground.
Yeah, but
when we requested for the detail to support
but auditor, language is important. When you say spent, it denotes payments. It denotes payments. I mean, you would have said 21 million contract sum. So you can confirm that 21 million was a contract sum, not an actual expenditure?
No.
So the actual expenditure is 10 million?
10 million, yes.
And the project is still ongoing?
Yes, still in progress.
Governor, the project is still ongoing?
Yes, Chairman, it's ongoing. We have put in the pictures, Chairman, of the progress on the project.
So then, to avoid belaboring the point, we can keep it in view. We keep it in view. It remains unresolved. I want us to skip one or two matters, and we'll come back to them if time allows. And I'll perhaps give guidance that we jump to the section on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resource, where we have the issues to do with the FIF, pending bills, and human resource. And then we'll come back to a few unresolved prior year matters, which form part of this report under Appendix 1. Honorable members, we go to the section on lawfulness and effectiveness and deal with the non-compliance with Facility Improvement Financing Act of 2023. Auditor General, you may read your findings.
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Yeah, proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Non-compliance with the Facility Improvement Financing Act 2023. The review of the revenue records obtained from the Level 4 and Level 5 health facilities in Homa Bay County revealed that 24 health facilities collected a total of 1,616,696,509 toward the health facility improvements. Out of this amount, a total of Kenya shilling 915,941,705 was transferred to the special purpose account at the health department. However, the special purpose account reimbursed a total of Kenya shilling 607,007,504 to the health facility, resulting to a deficit of Kenya shilling 228,904,220. This was contrary to Section 5.1 of the Facility Improvement Financing Act 2023, which requires that all monies raised or received on the behalf of the public health facilities be retained in the hospital facilities improvement financing account. In addition, failure to reimburse the total amount transferred by the facility negatively impacted on the service delivery by the health facilities. In the circumstances, the management of the county executive was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may respond.
Chair, just on a point of order, if you allow, I have seen the pictures of Kendu Bay Showground. The wall looks complete except the gates. But looking at the amount that is being used for walling vis-a-vis the land, it doesn't tally, because if I look at the land, it might come to around 3 to 5 million. Why would you use, and it looks desolate, why would you use that amount?
Let's do this. Let's deal with this FIF, and then the Governor responds, then we can come back to the showground.
Okay.
Yeah. Governor, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. Management wishes to clarify that under the Homa Bay County Facility Improvement Fund, Facility Improvement Financing Act 2023, the county government is required to retain 20% of collections from Level 4 and Level 5 health facilities. Consequently, out of the 915,941,725 collected and transferred to the FIF special account by the hospitals, 183,188,345 was lawfully retained and utilized within the healthcare sector to fund the following programs: supervision of public health facilities, supporting level 2 and level 3 hospitals, and supply of commodities to hospitals, while the balance of 687,007,504 was reimbursed to the facilities during the financial year. As at June 2025, 45,745,875 remained unreimbursed and formed part of the cash and cash equivalents balance of 76,144,115 disclosed in the special purpose account bank statement. However, the funds were later reimbursed to facilities in July 2025 as per the schedule attached in the Appendix 7B. Management confirms that the funds were retained, managed, and accounted for in accordance with the relevant legal framework and fully disclosed in the financial statements. We have Appendices 7A, extract copy of the County FIF Act of 2023, 7B, Special Purpose Account Bank Certificate as at 30th June 2025, and disbursement schedules, 7C, extract of bank statements showing reimbursement of 45,745,875, and 7D, Chair, is Homa Bay County Amendment Bill 2026, which is the proposed bill so that the county bill conforms with the national FIF bill.
Auditor General, you cited violation of the law. What is the position?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Here the issue is about the national law, the FIF Act 2023, which requires all the funds to be retained at the facility.
Yes, that is what you've said. So I've asked you, you have listened to the response from the county government. What is your advice on the basis of that response? What is your opinion on the basis of that response?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. There is, of course, we will need to be guided, but if there is a conflicting between the county government laws and the national government laws, then the national government laws. So in that scenario, then they need to amend their finance, the act at the Homa Bay so that it can be aligned to the national. And I've seen some counties already has taken some initiative in terms of amending.
Yeah, I think, Auditor, you need just to be forthright and tell the county that you have breached the law. Don't go around. They have breached the law, and that's the situation. Honourable members, any follow-up question on this? Senator Morgan?
Just to understand where governors are coming from, what is the rationale behind retaining the 20%?
Governor?
Chairman, when we did the facilities infrastructure or facility improvement financing bill for the counties, there was a standard law that was done by the counties and circulated, which we used, which retained for purposes, 1, of supervision, 2, of support for lower level facilities within the jurisdiction or catchment of the level 4 facilities. That was the rationale for the retention, which was countrywide. It was done, it was a law done by, it was a template given to all counties, which we just domesticated in Homa Bay as well.
I'm raising this issue because some of these issues, especially on health, you know, we can have a conversation, COG, senators. If it makes logic that you need to retain the 20%, we can amend the national law. You know, because at times when we have a conversation, we understand what is beneficial to the people we all serve. That's why I was asking, I need to understand the rationale behind the retention. So you may consider also engaging us at because we can amend the national law if retaining 20% will improve provision of health to our people.
Remember, honourable senators, we passed this law when we were sitting in Turkana at Senate Machinani. And the intent of this was to ensure that if money is collected from a facility, that money is plowed back there.
Yes.
Remember, the county still has other budgets, other revenues, or equitable share that comes in that can do all those other functions. But in the hierarchy of laws, national law is superior to county law. And I think if there is need to have that conversation, I think these are the things that the Senate can be engaged in. But
to be sure, Chair, that there is mitigation, how are you handling FIF in this financial year, 25-26?
Chair, in addition, so that Governor, I'm at note number 14A on detailed analysis of cash and cash equivalents. I'm looking at the different bank accounts that has been opened for various facilities. That's page 28, 29 on the certificate. Which are these special purpose accounts, Governor, if you can point out. Number one, on your note 14 of financial statement is addition. And finally, before you open a special purpose account, your CCM finance tells you there is a process. So where was the justification to open special purpose account so that you can retain that? And maybe I have a different view of what my brother, Senior Counsel Senator Okonga said. I thought the reason we wanted money to be plowed back is for efficiency of service delivery at the facility. So if counties go back and take again, and you know the major complaint was that you are taking money to county treasury, which is by the time we do requisition to get fuel for ambulance or drugs, Kenyans might have died. So what was the rationale? And I'll be hesitant that we don't amend that law because it's about health. I thought so that you can get money to fuel and get, it is an emergency service.
Chair.
So I really want to understand where the governor is coming from, because the wisdom of FIF is to have resources flowed back to improve efficiency and service delivery at the lowest level of the health, at that lowest level. So, Chair, those will be my 3 follow-up questions.
Okay. Chair. Let's allow Senator Lelegwe to go on record and then Senator Ombo.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lelegwe Tumesi, Senator for Samburu, member of this committee.
You're welcome, Senator. Senator Ombo. Oh, sorry, Senator Gataya.
Chair, my name is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Dharakanidi, member of this committee.
You're welcome. Senator Ombo.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy you are saying, and my colleagues are saying that there are conversations that can happen between the county governors and the Senate. And I want to go back to that FIF. Okay, the law is clearly, Governor, the law is, it has been breached as is. The question that I ask myself, and I keep asking this question, because the county governors are the ones who are implementing these things. They are the ones who are on the ground doing these things. If there are difficulties, because I'm seeing a lot of these breaches in FIF, there's a lot of breaches in the wage bills, on painting bills, in almost every county. And the question that I ask myself, Chair, is what is the difficulty in the Council of Governors initiating a conversation with the Senate on the amendment of the laws? I don't take the position that Senator Cherargei is taking, that we don't touch the law. I mean, laws are there to be amended if there's need to do that. What is the difficulty in the COG, especially on health matters, on FIF, engaging the Senate and saying, perhaps we have this difficulty in the FIF, why can't we amend the law to suit counties across the board? Chair, that would be my comment on the FIF.
Governor?
Chair, on Senator Wambua's point, I think the reason that the national law is appears to be breached is because of the conflict between the national law and the county law and the laws that were already legislated by counties. And this was, as I mentioned earlier, a standard law that all counties legislated. And no sooner had we finished legislating, there was a new process. And when we input into the new process, some of these views were not accommodated, and the national law was then passed. But in recognition that the national law supersedes the county laws. We are amending our own county laws to conform with the national law for the moment. There was always the question, the FIF, the special purpose account that Senator Cherargei mentioned. Of course, each facility has an account, their own account, which they run on their own. There was an earlier question of expenditure at source, which facilities receive money and they spend without any level of control. So you will find that a facility has received money, rather than buy medicine, they have maybe prioritized building a gate. And that is why there was a special purpose account created, so that when money is sent to the facility account, it is sent with an AIE. And we have formed an AIE committee that has the CC for health, the chief officer for health, and the facility in charge, so that they discuss and agree on what are the priorities. And for example, they've said priority number 1 is you must buy pharmaceuticals and non-pharmaceuticals before you are allowed to invest in firewood or anything else at the facility level. So it is exercising some level of control, but ensuring that the facilities have their resources to expend. So, Chairman, on this particular FIF, we are concluding on amending the law. We have attached the revised law for the county so that we can align it with the national law, so that we can proceed, so that the breach is not noted. But all of this is for purposes of service delivery. There is nothing, there is no money from health that is not spent on health.
So Governor, through the chair, that alignment, will it happen in all the counties, or is just in Homa Bay?
This is what Homa Bay is doing. And the auditor mentioned, that many of the other counties are also working on their own laws to align it with the national law.
Where there is conflict between national and county legislation, national legislation is the one that applies. Now, before we get lost in the policy conversation, the numbers are not tying. Auditor General, you are saying the county collected 1.6 billion towards health facilities improvement. And out of these, 915 million was transferred to special purpose account. Let's tie the numbers, because the policy issues, I think, are quite clear. The county does not refer to 1.6, the county says they collected 915. So which is which? For us to be sure that even with that irregularity in legislation, the numbers are flowing as they ought to be. You have said the county collected 1.6 billion from 24 health facilities. Is that the position?
Yes, Chair. So,
Governor, is that the position, that you collected 1.6 billion from 24 health facilities? Because if you collected 1.6 billion, then what ought to have been shared between this 20% and the rest of the facilities, the base should be 1.6 billion, not 900 million. So let's make sure the numbers flow. Was the collection 1.6 billion?
My understanding is, and the auditor can correct if this is not the understanding, is 1.6 billion was the claims made by the facilities.
Auditor,
And
please clarify that, because you have said collected, and collected means money in the account.
Maybe, Chair, just to clarify this, is that the facilities collected 1.6 billion. But out of this, they transfer 915 to the special purpose
No, just leave it there. So you confirm as the auditor that the facilities collected 1.6 billion.
Yes.
Okay, so
supposed to collect.
Collected. You know,
collected
we are talking of
billion.
24 facilities.
So what was supposed to, even with this problematic law, what should have gone back to facilities should have been 80% of 1.6 billion.
Which is 915.
Which is 915. But the governor's response indicates that it was 915 collected. There's a mismatch there.
In fact,
and a huge one.
If your math is right, that 915 is 80% of 1.6, then they actually collected 1.6.
Yeah, but then the gap between 1.6
and then 687.
That's over 700 million shillings. That can't be 80%, Chair.
There's a mix. The numbers are not adding up.
So
let's agree on the numbers.
Maybe Chair, just I can clarify.
Yes.
When we audit these facilities, of course, I said 24 facilities collected 1.6. Out of this 1.6, because of the timing difference, they transferred 915 to the special purpose account. So ideally, the entity need to transfer 900 again from the special purpose account to the entities, but they retain the 20% of and above. So you realize what has been transferred is 687 from the special purpose account instead of 915. So the difference is 228. They could have ought to retain 183 million if they use that law. So the difference between 183 and 228 is 45 million, which audit queried again. But that 45 million again was transferred later on, and there was an evidence for that support. So there is the total amount that the entity has collected, facilities.
Auditor General, what is 1.616 billion? What is that? Is that cash collected from the facilities?
Is it money that hit the accounts of the hospitals?
Yes.
So, Governor, you collected 1.6 billion from hospitals. That's a fact.
You know, from the entities themselves, which we audit. You know, we also audit these facilities.
Yes.
If you do the cumulative, that's how they collected.
But
you have a schedule, auditor?
Yes, there is a schedule when we do the audit.
Yes, so the Governor is the collector and the receiver. Did you receive 1.6 billion from the facilities?
I think what the auditor is clarifying is what he found at the facilities was that they had collected 1.6 billion. What we are handling from the purposes of FIF is what facilities then transferred to the special purpose account, which is 915. So from that, the auditor indicated that he needed us to transfer back the entire 915, but we retained the 20% as per the law.
Maybe for us to understand, what happens to the 700 million between the 1.6 and 915 million?
Now, Chairman, when we look now at the audit of the entities, when we go to the PIC, then we now compare with the facilities, what did you receive and what didn't you send to the SPA account? Because from what the Auditor General has raised, there might be some money that facilities have received, but because of time or whatever difference, they have not transferred it to the SPA account. So we, from this angle of FIF, have no visibility of it.
No, the percentage is so huge, it's material. If it was a few millions, then you could talk of timing differences, but it's a gap of 700. So is it indicative of deduction at source? Expenditure at source without first remitting the money to the relevant funds? That's 700 million.
One could be, but what the auditor has said that the facilities had received from his point, the money, because I would have imagined that these would be claims they have made and they are yet to receive. But from what he said, it's money they had received, which is, it means that it is money that the facilities themselves had not sent to the special purpose account.
No, I'm asking this question just to understand that process, because I would expect that if it was 1.6 collected and you have audited the financial statements for the facilities, then what would be transferred to the special purpose account cumulatively should be close to the 1.6. Which is 80%. Which is 80%. I'm struggling to understand why there's that gap.
I thought it should be the entire 1.6.
Yeah.
Then it is transferred.
Then it is sent back.
So that's where auditor should tell us, because a simple understanding means 1.6 should hit the county account.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then they return 80%.
80% back to the facilities. Yeah.
Yes. So we have not had, I've not received that explanation properly from the auditor.
I don't think it's the auditors,
explanation.
it's the entities.
It's the entity.
It's the entity's explanation.
Because they should agree with the entity that it's 1.6.
Yeah.
Then we do the maths now.
So does it mean 700 million was spent at source? If the governor can clarify that, does it mean 700 million was spent at source? Because you have the you have chief officer in charge of health services. They are the accounting officers and departmental heads. So out of this 1.6, and I don't think OAG will go and come up with 1.6 billion without going through the schedule of collections within those 24 facilities.
But
so
Chair,
between 1.6 billion and 915 million, the difference of 700 million, was it spent
Chair,
at source?
Chair,
okay, Senator
it's the same auditor who audits those hospitals. He should be able to tell us, was the 700 million spent at source? That difference.
Chair, that's why I believe the initial explanation should actually come from the OAG on the visibility of the 1.6 billion Kenya shillings.
Okay, let's allow the OAG to advise us.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. When the facilities collect, so let's say maybe the share has been paid to specific facilities. And based on the arrangement between the special purpose account and the facilities, they are supposed to fund these transfers. So for us, we normally have the cut-off date, which is 30th June. So at the cut-off date of 30th June, you may see the facility has collected. But probably they will have the 5th day of the month for them to transfer the funds. You know, there is what we call a timing difference. So at that point of the cut-off date, we realize the facility has collected 1.6 from their side. But what they have transferred as a cut of that date of 30th June is 941 to the special purpose account, because they have to transfer funds to the special purpose account. Then later, the account retain 20% and retain. So there is timing difference, because if probably we look in the month of July, the funds maybe has even been moved to special purpose account. But because
can
have
the
the
timing difference be to the tune of 43%? Because that variance is 43% of the total.
700 million.
A timing difference could be a month or a quarter. Governor?
I think I may see where the auditor is coming from, because the facilities, they report on accrual. They report on what they have claimed from SHA. That's what they report as their revenue. Not necessarily what SHA has already reimbursed to them at any particular time. So they might be reporting in their books those amounts, but on the basis of the claims they have, because every treatment you make, you file the claim, but the money does not necessarily come back to you in good time. So sometimes we even report, you report revenues on the basis of those claims in the hope that you will receive back the money. And perhaps yes, that is what the report is, because we have tightened a lot the issue of expenditure at source. The facilities bring money to the SPA. But again, the entities, we the PIC, detailed reporting from the entities themselves. That's when so today we were responding to the issue of what came to the FIF. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, that's why I was asking the auditor if the 1.6 billion actually hit the accounts of the hospitals, and you did the total. And if you did so, and 915 was transferred to SPA, then you must be knowing what happened to the other money and how it was expended.
Auditor?
Oh, yeah.
Because you see, the auditors use the language, the facilities collected. And English, on its face, a collection is money that has been received by the facility. So I don't know what else we want the auditor to explain.
You know, whereas what the governor says makes a lot of sense. Are we okay? Yeah. So, whereas it makes a lot of sense, you know, Chair, you have asked the auditor more than 3 times whether that money, 1.6 billion, was realized by the facilities. And the 3 times he affirmed that the money was realized. So I don't know whether now he wants to change that position or what's going to happen.
Auditor, you remember you're not the one on the spot. It's a county to explain. So I would be quite hesitant to put you on the spot for too long, but just clarify, because even though the English here does not need clarification for anyone who went to school. Auditor, do you stand with your collected, or it's something that you want to vary?
Here we stand with the amount that has been collected at 1.6 because we also audit these 24 health facilities. And based on their collection, you can able to confirm that this is the amount as at that date. But in terms of how the funds are moving from the facility itself to the special purpose account, there's always timing difference. But here the main concern of the audit query is 915 that requires to be fully funded back to the facility.
Yeah, 915, but we have also raised concern about the 700 in between. Because even if it was a timing difference, it cannot be 44%, because the amounts that have been transferred are just 53 point something percent of what you report as having been collected. So I think this is a matter that perhaps needs to be looked into further, because we focused more on the law, but not on the numbers. These numbers must be looked at. Now, Governor, is there a disbursement schedule for the facilities so that facilities know that on a monthly basis they're going to get their money back? Because I think coming from Homa Bay, there could be 1 or 2 facilities that have not gotten their disbursements since perhaps late last year. Is there a disbursement schedule, or the disbursements are done as monies are received from SHA?
Thank you, Chairman. In the earlier times of the process, there were delays here and there, but that was tightened. So, if you send your money to the SPA, it should not be more than 4 days before you receive it back to the facility. And I want the finance chief officer who does that to just confirm whether there could be monies that can take more than a week in the SPA.
Yeah, and you might also want to confirm whether Ndiwa, Ndiru, Magunga, Rachonyo East, and Suba Sub-County have got some outstanding disbursements, as you explained that.
Thank you, Chair. The refunds to facilities, we do them as fast as within the day, but not longer than within the week. And that is how the SPA that is locally operated has really been useful for us to ensure that that is done. Unless a facility has not met any condition required, for example, bringing a certified statement showing what they received, which also rarely happens. So I can confirm that it doesn't go beyond a week, but it goes as fast as within a day we send back to the money back to the facility.
Is there any reported challenge in some of those facilities that I mentioned? In terms of delays in reimbursement? Ndiwa, Ndiru, Magunga, Rachonyo East, Suba Sub-County Hospital.
Chair, that is reimbursement from SHA, not from the SPA at the county. There were some clarifications which were being required by the SHA national office, and therefore their reimbursement from the national SHA office is what is has a challenge, not from the local operations.
Okay, so on that, because when we went to Busia, I think we went to the general hospital, and the doctors there gave us certain challenges that they're facing with SHA. What would be the challenge in Homa Bay, so that even when you're engaging with the CS for health, it is something we can bring up, that Homa Bay was before us, and several facilities have not been reimbursed for many months. Because every time Duale comes, he says, everything is working well. There's no problem with SHA.
Chairman, I can say overally, SHA has been reimbursing the facilities, but there are specific facilities in Homa Bay, public facilities that had challenges with SHA itself. And when the AI system that SHA has picks any anomaly with the facility, they stop. And then you clarify, and then they reopen. So this is what happened to some of the facilities that you've mentioned. Was Magunga one of them? Yes. Yeah, and Magunga. But a number of them, I want to ask you, Grace, the CC Health, to just confirm which of these facilities have been cleared by SHA and which one is still left that we are still pursuing.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. The facilities that have since been cleared are Rachonyo South and Rachonyo East. We still have a problem with Newa, with Marindi, with the Suba sub-county. Magunga is one of them, Ndiru, and Nyalgosi. Thank you.
And is it a workflow problem or there's a more fundamental problem? I remember when the president was in Homa Bay, there were comments that were made which left us with egg on our face. I think with regards to, must have been Rachwanyo, one of those hospitals where it was said that we are cooking up claims, which I don't think is the nature of our people. So are the challenges just workflow issues, or there are material things that this Senate can take up with the CS in charge of health?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, members. A good number of the challenges relate to contractual provisions, and I think our team is doing a very good job of providing information that is needed as required. Some of it is just that SHA has been overwhelmed by requests and things that they have to look at the different facilities. So some of it relates to speed on the SHA side, some of it relates to contractual issues, and some of it also just changing policies. SHA has been changing policies very, very frequently, and it has taken our team some time to master that.
Okay, honorable members, I know we have gotten now into broader policy conversations. We'll need to come back to the numbers. Senator Marum.
Specifically, Chair, for this query, the action taken by the management is that the management disbursed the funds to the respective level 4 and level 5 hospitals. I'm imagining it is the 183 million that was retained. And then we have the process of harmonizing the two laws has started. That is, they're amending the law. I don't know if that is adequate to mitigate on the query, but also we need to know what is happening now. Are you still retaining the funds, or now what is happening?
I think on the first part of the question, if we cannot agree on the 1.6 billion, then we cannot have a resolution. So we need, the auditor will have to assure us whether that 1.6 billion is collected or accrued. I think that's a starting point, because if the 1.6 billion is collected, then we have a much bigger problem of retention or drawing on funds at source. So there's no way we can solve this matter until we establish the basis. Governor?
Chairman, I wanted to agree with you that because our responses focused on the money that came to the SPA, if we could have an opportunity to look at the schedule from the auditor on the 1.6 so that we know exactly what animal we are handling. So, Chairman, I wanted to agree with you that we will retreat and get the 1.6, whether it's accrued or whether it is actual. Then we handle it from there. And we will also be appearing before the PIC on the same with the entities.
Yeah, so since this is in the report that is before us, we cannot toss it to another committee. Auditor General, as we do our report, you will provide us with a schedule that provides evidence of the collections. And if there's that gap of 700 million, we'll put the governor to task on it. We could proceed to long outstanding trade and other payables. Even though, maybe for the benefit of everyone in the committee. So for these facilities where there have been those technical challenges with SHA, when a citizen comes to the hospital and there's no medication, how do you deal with that? Or is there a stopgap funding measure? Because if SHA fails, then it is a county government that has failed. You know, you are the face of service delivery.
Chairman, it's a discussion we have had with SHA, including with the minister, that for public facilities, if there is a challenge, should the SHA be stopped, or should SHA continue to serve the public as we'd handle any issues on the background? And the idea should be that SHA should continue as you handle the issues on the background. But right now, we have had to support those facilities from our exchequer side to be able to handle, and the public is not able to access SHA. But we are working round the clock to ensure that SHA is restored, and I'm happy that some of the facilities that were off, like Rachonyo South, Rachonyo East, they are now restored, and we are sure that within the month or so we should be able to restore the other facilities.
Okay. Senator Sifuna?
Yeah, Chair.
We move to the trade debtors.
Am I hearing the county governor to be saying that the people of Homa Bay who've been going to this hospital or facilities have not been charged money that she has paid, or the county government has paid for that? Because I remember recently we were told that there was an outage in that SHA system, and at least in Nairobi our experience was totally different. People were being turned away from facilities. Governor, are you saying you are the ones who have been paying for those people in those hospitals where the SHAs had issues?
No. I think, Senator, my point was, because the facilities, especially at level 4, rely a lot on the FIF, without an active SHA program, they need to pay certain basic issues, including commodities and so on, which we have supported them to support electricity and the other utilities for those facilities.
There's still out-of-pocket payments at your facilities because of this problem?
Yes. Because of this problem, there's still out-of-pocket payment, particularly in the facilities that are facing this particular problem. The 4 out of the 234 facilities, I think we have 4 of them now facing this SHA problem.
I think, Chair, if I got you correctly, what you're raising is if a facility has been blocked by SHA, yes. I'm a citizen of Homa Bay. I have the SHA card. I will not get medical attention in that facility. I think that's the question Chair is asking. Then what happens to those innocent citizens of Homa Bay? They have SHA. The facility that is run by the county has been blocked from SHA. So how do they access health services, if that is the situation?
Maybe in addition...
Okay, Senator Chirake.
Access services, they have to pay out of pocket, or because the challenges facing those facilities. Are these the same facilities that the CS told us they were facing issues of fraud? And then number 2, do you as a county have indigent support to citizens who don't have the ability to pay for the medical services? Thank you, Chair.
And for the record, Senator Chirake is the biggest defender of SHA in this committee. So we'll be...
Chair, I'm the biggest defender of government. I'm the biggest defender of broad-based. And I'm the biggest defender of anything that government for the better of Kenya.
Okay, that's extraneous.
And your governor also is the biggest defender of broad-based.
So let's come back. Let's come back to the audit. Governor,
so should it follow that you should be the biggest defender of mine? Or no? Just I think on the issue of these specific facilities, the discussion we have had, you can find that a facility has a case that can be said to be fraud, for example. Maybe it is a case of not adjusting quick enough to the policies. Maybe it is a question of people shared beds, so you claimed for 30 instead of 20 beds, which you're registered to have. So those kinds of issues are the ones that are resulting in the blocking of facilities. SHA generally, if I would say, Chair, reimburses facilities and is a big improvement from the previous system that we had. That I can say.
But the concern is this innocent Kenyan who has SHA,
and that is,
but comes to a public health facility. But because of the mistake of that health facility, he or she is not able to access service using the SHA card. Yep. What do we do?
I'm in total agreement with you, Senator Okongo, because, and this is the discussion we have had with the SHA and with the policy level, that if a facility has an issue, the issue should be dealt with while the public continues to access services. This is what we have raised, so that the punishment, when you block a facility, the punishment is not on the administrator. It is on the patient. So we have asked that the policy be changed so that if there is an issue with the facility, let the administration of the facility, who is the contract holder, because facilities sign direct contracts with SHA, to let them deal with that as the facility continues to offer services to the public, which is not the case at the moment.
Okay, Senator Sifuna, finally.
Just a clarification, Governor. We in the Senate and you in the Council of Governors actually on the same side. I actually view these conversations here as you appearing at one of those facilities you're talking to, because we're supposed to fight these causes together. What we say out there, whether you are the biggest supporter of whatever, is something else. But we shouldn't be hearing any complaints when it comes to service delivery in hospitals if SHA is working. How much money does SHA owe Homa Bay County or 24 facilities in reimbursements?
I want to ask my health team to just work that out and share.
And also just confirm to us what is, my chair calls it an aging analysis. Because when people go around saying this thing is working, and yet maybe Homa Bay is prioritized in terms of payments, but in Nairobi, SHA owes our hospitals a lot of money, and they are suffering. Those, maybe we should start being like Cherargei, and then our hospitals will be given money. But we want to confirm.
But Chair,
he has called himself the biggest defender of something.
Of course, yes, of SHA.
So the CEC there should just confirm to me if, because Homa Bay is one of those counties,
that cannot be an algorithm.
That's what I want to know. That's why I want to know.
Governor, that's a political question you can ignore.
No.
Order, Senator Cherargei.
Unless Senator Sifuna, through with your indulgence, Chair, gives us a system that works 100% anywhere in the world.
Chair,
every system has
honorable senators, we are the ones who wrote the 4 laws when we're in Turkana. So if it is not working well, it is our responsibility.
You can't.
It is our responsibility
you can't take that responsibility.
To revisit them.
The argument is if an entity has been blocked because of fraud, if it is blocked, I agree with the argument that the innocent Kenyans must serve. But you also protect the resources that belongs to the people.
No, that's okay. Let's allow Senator Sifuna to finish.
I don't think when we write laws, we take on the responsibility of implementation, because what we were promised by the current administration is universal free health care. So even one person going to a facility and not being able to receive medication is a matter of concern for us as a leadership. Chair, the question of fraud is just one. But for instance, Chair, if you take into account the recent collapse of that system of SHA, that is not a question of fraud. And bearing in mind, Senator Cherargei, how much money the Kenyan taxpayer paid for that system, I am not saying, Chair, that we expect 100%, but we are saying a system that expensive cannot be out of service for 4 days. There's loss of lives in the country when things like those happen. That is nothing to do with fraud. So we are within our rights. We are within our rights to insist that because of the amount of money that we paid for that system, my healthcare contributions, Chair, when I was elected here, I think they went down, they went up almost 30 times. I pay over 30,000 these days, and we used to pay NHIF a fraction of that. And the way that program was sold to us is because Sifuna, You are well-to-do. You are earning $1 million shillings a month. Let's contribute so that the other people who are unable to or don't have an income, the people in the villages in Karachuonyo can be able to do what? Access healthcare. That is the reason why we supported the system. Now, if it doesn't work, if there is even just one person in Karachuonyo who is not receiving healthcare because the system is down, 100 and something billion Kenyan shilling system, Honorable Chair. So it's not to say that these questions are political, but healthcare is political.
No, I think the questions are proper. We had asked about the size of the debt. You have the figures? Maybe you could share?
Chairman, SHA owes us approximately 350 million to the facilities in Homa Bay. Chairman, on the other...
And how old is that debt? Is it a month, 2 months, a year?
They're just working on the aging. I just wanted to bring the amount. Chairman...
But even before you go there, Chair, if the Auditor General or the county entity itself is saying that in the entire financial year that is under review, they themselves told us 900 and something was collected in all the facilities, right? If SHA alone has 350 in debt to the hospitals in Homa Bay, that's almost a third of the collections for the facilities, you know? So when we bring out these things, don't make it look like it is political. But if you have come to the doctor and you give me the wrong, what is it called? The wrong symptoms, Governor. If you give me the wrong symptoms, I will not apply the right injection, and you know how we do it. We want you to be paid the 350 million.
I think you are starting, your preamble is what should carry the rest of the conversation, that we are on the same side. When we ask these questions, it's to get a solution. And when we find that 300 million is owed to Homa Bay, out of a potential collection of 1.6 billion or 900 million, it is significant. And it is in these sessions that we find legislative interventions or just interventions we can call the CS for health. But it shows that there's a problem if you don't have 300 million reimbursed on time.
Chairman, maybe I can just say this also, because in our language, something is said that the tail of a ship is compared with the other. If we compare the level of reimbursements, the amount in terms of reimbursements that SHA is giving to facilities in comparison to what NHIF was giving, SHA is much more enhanced. If we compare the timeliness in payment, SHA is prompter than what NHIF was. I'm just noting that in comparison. Of course, there's no perfect system.
The promptness will determine once we get the aging analysis of the debt.
Yes, Chair, let me just make a point, a simple but important point. You know, Governor, you and I, and every Kenyan worker is not in arrears in their contributions to SHA. None of us is in arrears. There can never be an explanation why SHA really should hold, that's just one county, 350 million Kenya shillings. And you know what, Chairman and Governor and all of us, you know, we can choose to compare NHIF and SHA or whatever it is that we want to do. But you see, Governor, if SHA was working in Homa Bay or in Kitui, the first person that would know that SHA is working is a patient visiting a facility. We don't need to tell them that it's working. I mean, if it's working, it's working. If it's not working, it's not working. And we are talking about a situation, and I don't want to go into those comparisons, where the Kenyan taxpayer has paid in excess of 100 billion Kenya shillings for a technology that is supposed to support SHA, a system that has been down for now almost a week or more, So let's not even go there. But if it's working, then Kenyan people will know it's working. We don't need to tell them that it's working. And for the amount of money that we have spent for that system, honestly, the uptime should be more than 97%. You ask me.
Now,
for the cost.
I know this is these members here are seized of this matter on the floor. CS Duale comes regularly. What we must demand of Governor Wanga is to account for the 1.6 billion reported as collected. That's what we must demand from Governor Wanga, that money must go back to facilities. What we must demand from CS Duale is why 350 million remains undisbursed to the facilities. So I think let's separate it. Let's not attempt to over-explain the national government's role because this is a county government that is distinct. I think that's where we are falling into a trap. Governor, you got the aging, or it's something that can be provided later?
I think they're working on it, and we will be able to present it.
So we are clear on this particular matter that the first thing we must confirm is 1.6. And in terms of amendment of the laws, county laws, I think it would best serve governors to perhaps caucus and have one standard amendment for the county laws or the national legislation. In fact, amending one law is faster than amending 47 sets of laws, but we shall leave that to you. Let's move to trade payables, long outstanding trade and other payables. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Long outstanding trade and other payables. The statement of the financial position, and as disclosed in Note 20 to the financial statement, reflect a trade and other payables balance of Kenya shilling 1,504,513,380, which includes a payable totaling to Kenya shilling 1,091,975,059 that had been outstanding for 1 year, contrary to Section 14.2 of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulation 2015, which said that the debt service payment shall be the first charge in the county revenue fund, and the accounting officer shall ensure that this is done to the extent that possible, that the county government does not default on the debt obligations. In addition, although the management has provided a payment plan showing the order of the priority they intend to use to clear the debts, the plan does not indicate when the payables will be settled. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. Management has noted the auditor's observation and wishes to clarify that it is committed to settling pending bills in accordance with the Pending Bills Action Plan for financial year 25-26. Out of the 1,524,513,380 outstanding bills as of 30th June 2025, Kenya shilling 713,199,834 has so far been settled, leaving a balance of Kenya shillings 811,313,545. Management is implementing the approved payment plan and has prioritized the settlement of eligible and verified pending bills, subject to availability of funds in line with the PFM County Government Regulations 2015. The payment plan outlines the order of priority and timelines for settlement, and the management intends to settle the pending bills by the end of financial year 2026-2027. Appendix 8A, Pending Bills Progression Summary. 8B, Pending Bills Action Plan for 2025-2026. 8B, another one, Current Status of Pending Bills.
Governor, with the progress that you have presented there, how does that change, for example, if you look at your Note 20, that you had 148 million outstanding over 3 years. When you look at pending bills as a first charge, with your payment plan, to what extent have those figures changed? Because, I mean, you would have pending bills under 1 year as you wait for your disbursements, maybe 1 to 2 years as you wait for projects to complete. But over 3 years is indicative of a problem. You reported 148 million as bills exceeding 3 years. Is there a specific plan to deal with debt over 3 years?
Chair, can I add?
Or let's allow Senator Cherargei also to
Governor,
this question.
I've seen your response on this matter of pending bill, and I've noticed over 92% of the pending bill of 1.5 billion was accrued by your administration, over 92%. The 8% is historical. Question 1, can you segregate and give us the reason in detail? That is question 1 after what the chair has asked. And number 3, in this 92% of pending bill, are there pending bills that are tied to multi-year projects that the county is undertaking? And how much are we looking at? And finally, Chair, since I know we don't want to interrogate the chair of County Public Accounts of Homa Bay, in the budget allocation, how much has it been in this financial year, and the CCM or Bureau is here, has been allocated to offset the pending bill? Because looking at the aging analysis, it doesn't add up considering the budget. And finally, Chair, just finally, sorry for taking long, Governor, you have indicated that there were eligible pending bills. In your answer, because I'm just reading your answer, Chair, if you have noticed, the Governor is talking as settling pending bills action and also on, and has prioritized the settlement of eligible and verified pending bills. So what is the basis of this? Is it the controller budget that did verification, or yourself? And is there a report? When you say eligible and verifiable, how much are you talking about? And ineligible, could it be connected to historical pending bill, which you have, which is related to 811 billion? So because it says eligibility and verifiable, so which ones are eligible? So that maybe he has lumped up everything. Okay. Chair, I yield back.
Fine. Maybe Governor, just take note so that we take all the questions, we'll be able to move fast. Senator Sifuna.
Chair and Governor, I'm looking at the development expenditure pending bills as at 31st May 2026, which I think is your Annex 8C. Are we together? There is a document called Homa Bay County Development Expenditure Pending Bills as at 31st May 2026, which would indicate that it is a current status, Honorable Chair.
Is that 8C or 8A?
I think I have found it at 8C.
Yeah, it's
8C, yes. So there will just be like 3 items that maybe you can address as one. I was picking out the high ticket issues. There is a pending bill of 24 million for construction of Homa Bay County Stadium. Is this the one that was renamed Raila Odinga Stadium? Yeah, so I thought that national government had told us that once the intervention was there, it's number 4 on that list. So just address us why there is still a pending bill of 24 million shillings for the stadium. Secondly, Honorable Chair, at number 9 there is an amount of 348,954,000. That is a pending bill for construction of 2-door pit latrine at Ngeri Beach in Kaksingri West Ward at number 9. Chair, if the pending bill is 348,954 on a construction of a 2-door pit latrine, what was the cost of this project, Honorable Chair? And does it make sense that latrines are that expensive to build in Homa Bay? That is item number 9 on that list. Number 9, are we there? And finally, Chair.
Oh yeah, there seems to be, I was struggling to follow, but I've seen it now. Because that's the number 9 on the second document.
Yes, Chair.
Because There are two documents. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yes, there's the one that is titled Development Expenditure Pending Bills as at 31st March, May 2026.
It comes after the summary of pending bills.
Yes.
Okay.
So the number 9 one, Governor, you'll explain to us why it's so expensive building toilets there. And then finally, there is the 3.588 million at number 19. This is construction of main block at Gingo Health Center in Suba South, Kaksingri West Ward. Just tell us the status of that project, whether it was complete or whether it is not. That's all, Chair.
Chair, can I add on Senator Sifuna on number 28 and 29? This one proposed completion of Governor's new office block of 7.9 million. I thought the office block was completed. And finally, number 29, Governor, you are proposing as construction of a gazebo at the new Governor's office of 2.8. And we know what gazebo is. Is it too cold in Homa Bay? You needed somewhere to light fire with wazee.
Okay, so
Wajami.
Yeah, since you are having the second bite, make it brief. That's it. Governor.
Thank you, Chairman. I will pick some, and I will also ask the CC Finance to answer others. So, starting with the question asked by Senator Cherargei on the office block, I think it's the titling. This was the Governor's office block which we moved to, which was the health building. So we completed it, stayed there as they were building the county headquarters, and it was taken over by the health department because it was always the meant to be the health building. The gazebo is a structure outside where you can meet with your workers, the healthcare workers, and the others. Instead of having tents, it's a capacity of about 300 people. I think, Senator, you may have seen it.
I haven't seen it. I've never been to Homa Bay.
No,
or the area, Senator, you should be specific.
There are more Chair and Senator of Homa Bay may have seen it.
Oh yeah, be specific because there are many senators here.
So, okay. And then coming to the question of Senator Sifuna on the two-door pit latrine, the standard amount for the two-door pit latrines is about 500,000 shillings. That's the cost of pitting it and building it. It's usually about 500,000 shillings. The cost is there about, and so.
So, Governor, for instance, if there's a pending bill of 486,359, like at number 65 there,
yeah,
it means you paid the contractor an initial amount of 20K.
Maybe we haven't paid them. It's an average cost of 500, but when you're contracting, you could contract at 4.8, 480, 460, depending on where you're building it, the soil structure there, and so on. Somebody could quote slightly less. So maybe that person has not been paid at all. Coming to the Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay, the phase 1 of this stadium was completed by the county government of Homa Bay and opened in July of 2023. Any obligations under that phase 1 are under the county government of Homa Bay. The national government then came in to do the terraces around the stadium because the first phase only had the main pavilion but did not have the terraces around the stadium. So the national government picked up the terracing, and that could be the confusion. But what we owe, the county government owes to the contractors who did the first phase of the stadium.
Now, if you look at just 1 minute.
Sorry?
Order, members.
Yeah.
Is it on the same point?
On the same one, Chair. My concern is that the invoice date, if you look at the column on supplier or contractor invoice date, is indicated as 2019. Governor, we are in 2026.
Yeah,
that is over 7 years later. Is this amount payable, or is one of those that you've decided you're not going to pay?
No, the construction of the stadium took a bit of time, and we found when it had progressed, and then we picked it from there. We have made quite a bit of payments to the contractor, and we are at the very tail end of finalizing any pending bills around that stadium.
I think you'll need to tie it with the earlier question on how you are treating the debt over 3 years.
Correct.
Because your records indicate 148 million was 3 years older.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hope that you're going to give us that analysis, or your officers are going to give us that analysis.
Yes, I'm going to hand that question over to them. But before I hand it over, I'll go to the question that Senator Cherargei asked around the eligibility of the pending bills. I think, Chairman, when we last appeared, we had indicated that we had formed a pending bills verification committee, and it finalized its work and presented a report. Thank you.
So it means that the numbers that you reported of 1.52, those ones are legible. And those ones are you have made a commitment to pay
them. Yes.
Okay.
So, Chair, how much was ineligible? And are there any challenges to that declaration? Because somebody cannot raise a pending bill. So out of this 1.5 that is legible, it would be better for people of Homa Bay to know that how much are ineligible.
Okay.
And what is the outcome of such process, so that, Chair, the county does not have legal suits or being taken to court.
Yeah, I think, Chairman, I will ask for the exact figure to be presented. But we had a very open process, and when we finished the process, we called the contractors who had put in the bills. We gave them the report. We opened for appeal. The team went round, so it was a very open process, and we took a very, very competent set of teams. And when we came here, you also told us to take it again to the internal auditor because of the case in Kakamega. The internal auditor to again verify it, which the internal audit team did. So we had a very elaborate process around. The question is the payment of the bills more than actually the eligibility of it. I think there's general satisfaction around eligibility, even from the contractors. The bigger question is, can you pay us quicker? And that is the question the chair was asking around the bills that are more than 3 years old. So I want to ask the CC Finance.
Okay, CC.
To take up.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, in the current budget, the total value for pending bills is at 480 million. Senator sought that in trying to clear.
That's a budget.
Yeah,
that's a budget provision.
Yeah, that's the budgetary provision that we have now. Chair, if we go to Appendix 8A, it gives us now historically where we are coming from, and also the financial years that are affected for both recurrent and development. When we got into office in 2022, Chair, both historical pending bills and current then stood at 1.9 billion, of which during the assumption of office, what was handed over was about 740 million, but the bulk of it then came through the pending bills verification task force, which was way over 2 billion, around 2.21, but what was then considered eligible as total to 1.9. Chair, in the financial year then 2023-2024, that figure was reduced substantially to 1.192 billion. Then now in the year 2024-2025, there are those that were verified by the pending bills task force, but they said due to time constraints, we had to use our internal audit department to further confirm and liaise with the Office of the Auditor General to confirm that those are also eligible, because they didn't visit the actual sites of where these works were done. So that figure then made a jump when we went to the financial year 2024-2025 that took us to the 1.5 billion that is in question today. However, Chair, as at 31st of May 2026, the county government has made substantial progress on our pending bills and has reduced it to the current figure of 811,313, which we are further making attempt to reduce by allocating 480 million.
So in that 700 million reduction, because you have reduced it by 700 million from,
Yes, Chair.
from 1.5 to 811.
Yes, Chair.
How much of that debt is still older than 3 years?
Chair.
The reason I keep asking this is, you see, 3-4 years ago, there was a different government. And you don't want to create an impression that bills from the old government are not being paid. Because as you have explained, whatever you have here is verified. And as we also said when you're here, that the Senate has got no power to tell you pay this bill and not that other one. It's your internal processes. So out of this 148 million that you had reported as older than 3 years, you have paid 700 million since the last audit. How much has that figure moved over 3 years?
Chair, we gave priority to historical pending bills, and there are just a few historical pending bills that are outstanding, Chair, in my estimation, but I will be able to provide the data.
Can you provide
from my team.
A ballpark figure? Just to get
about 55 million of the historical pending bills could be outstanding now. Reason?
It's better to get the actual figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chairman, allow us to get the actual.
The actual. And as you get that, I wanted to find out how much of that relates to statutory contributions, gratuities, staff payables. Do you have any such outstanding?
Yeah, Chair, we'll be able to provide the data shortly as the meeting progresses.
Senator Sifuna?
No, Chair, the amount of pride I have seen Homa Bay taking in this stadium and the fact that it is named after my former boss, I think it's very unfair to have a pending bill from 2019, which essentially, Governor, would be attributable to phase 1 of that stadium, right? So I'm hoping that in the budget, what you have set aside, when next you appear here, we will not have pending bills. I don't want that contractor to be crying in Raila's name.
It does not even have to be. It does not even have to be the next meeting, yes. Because the officer said he's getting the exact details of the 55 million.
Yes.
Yeah. So once he gets that, we can be clear and give specific directions.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it is part of that 700 million.
Chair, maybe, Governor, we were in that stadium during the Revolution Conference. So you say terraces was done as canopy also being done for the entire stadium or only at the pavilion?
Sorry. So I take note of Senator Sifuna's point that nobody should be crying in Baba's name. So we have made quite a bit of progress in paying the contractor in question. So I think maybe that earlier invoice should have been, I'm sure we've paid him a lot more even after the 2019 invoice. But coming back to...
Can you just maybe, do you already have the data that you're saying you're analyzing?
No,
because you are saying you have reduced it to 55 million.
No, so, what we said...
So maybe you might find it has been knocked off.
Let us work out the actual figure and give it to you. Because you said how much of the 701 has reduced the earlier bills.
The 3-year-old?
Yeah.
And how much of it relates to staff gratuities, staff payables, and statutory deductions?
Deductions, exactly. So I think that is what we must provide, which is coming. But I wanted to answer Senator Cherargei's question. The first phase was the main pavilion, the VIP pavilion. The second phase was the terraces and the canopies of the rest of the stadium. It was first 2,000 seater, now it's 12,000 seater. Thank you, Chair.
So is it now fully done?
It's fully done, complete, beautiful, in Raila's name.
Beautiful. I wanted Sifuna to get that. I know it's been long for him to be normal. Thank you.
Order, Senator Maruma. Senator Maruma.
Sorry, Chair. Just one small issue about the task force report. Did you have room for appeals? Have we dealt with them? Because then if we are comfortable that we are moving well, yet their appeals are to court to the courts, then this bills. There could be others that are coming. So, about approximately how much would we be expecting maybe to come back to these pending bills, or there was no room for appeal?
Chairman, as I said earlier, when the committee presented its report, we subjected it to the associations and everybody, contractors associations or everybody who had sent in their documents. And we asked them to appeal, and they appealed, and the appeal process was finalized. Then we took again the report to the internal audit process, because this was an external task force, and the court had ruled on that issue. And the committee advised that the internal audit suffices, so we took it again to the internal audit. So it has been a thorough process.
Just as a by the way, Chair, you know that almost always I spend the New Year's festivities with my family in Homa Bay, because it's one of the most beautiful places in Kenya. So last I was there was in December. There was an issue on the road just outside that stadium. I thought I saw some blocks of what is it, concrete, in the middle of the road. What was the issue there, Governor, and has it been cleared? But the road outside is still under construction.
Thank you, Senator, for loving Homa Bay and for always coming there. And we welcome you any and every other time. Actually, next time you'll be going to Sindo, I think it will be tarmac now.
I'm going to Sindo now. after what I went through last year, my children wailing for hours on the road.
No, I got him a boat and he was too scared to take the boat.
The speedboat was crazy, Chair. So I'll go someplace else.
Yeah.
But the road, I think, is a good thing that's happening there, which is the dualing of that main road that passes through Homa Bay. So the concrete was to make the middle of the median of the dual carriage. So it is very good progress for Homa Bay.
I think in December it was work in progress. It's still moving. It's just that we won't find it in her books, because it's being done by which agency?
Kenha, Chairman.
By Kenha. So we'll find it in the accounts of Kenha. If you have do you have the breakdown for the 3-year-old? Now, I must also put on record that as a senator from Homa Bay, I've received several petitions from service providers over delays in payment of pending bills. But I believe that we need to have a more substantive inquiry through a petition addressed to the Finance Committee, because it will be difficult to handle it through this accounting process. The accounting process, we are limited to what the Auditor General has raised. So I will advise them to do so. But as we said last time, there must be finality to the exercise. You cannot verify forever. And no senator can help you verify your pending bills. Those are your liabilities. It is upon you to identify the ones that are payable, the ones that are legible. And it's not even the Auditor General who can tell you. It's your own mechanisms. So that must be the position, that once they are verified, they need to be paid. And if they are found to be non-existent, then, as we have said, the additional spicing on it would have been to forward the files to ESCC or DCI, because that's a criminal offense. Now, we can proceed to another matter as we wait for those numbers. The time will not allow us to deal with everything that is in this report, but as we were going through our briefs, one of the other big projects that Homa Bay County has done is an 800 million county headquarters. I think, Auditor General, you can take us through the issues that were raised there.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's 8.4. Delayed completion of the Homa Bay County Government Headquarters and auxiliary facilities. The settlement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 19 to the financial statement, reflect the rights of the use of assets of the carrying balance of Kenya shilling 787,200,000, which represent the cost of acquiring the county headquarters over a 4-year period. The county government entered into tenant purchase agreement, a finance lease to own contract with the county pension fund for the purpose of the build development of the Homa Bay County Government Headquarters and auxiliary facilities on 6th May 2024 for a contract sum of Kenya 820 million. The money was to be paid over 4 years period. The construction was to take 6 months, and the county government was to occupy the completed building by January 2025. The completion date was subsequently revised to 2nd May 2025. A review of the records relating to the project revealed that the county executive paid Kenya 141,142,672 to the county pension fund in the year under review. The total amount that had been paid was Kenya 181,142,676. Although the county executive obtained approval from the Control of Budget in July 2024 to open and operate a special purpose account for the Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund at the Central Bank of Kenya, the county government was yet to establish the fund and open the special purpose account in accordance with the Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund Act 2023, which were the requirement in the tenant purchase agreement. The tenant purchase agreement, the finance lease to own contract, include construction of the main headquarters building, amphitheaters, and Ushuru Center. In addition, a physical verification in October 2025 revealed that the project was not completed and was behind the schedule. Although the county government has already occupied the main block of the development, work on the amphitheaters was still ongoing, landscaping was yet to be completed, and painting was being done in the section of the main block. In addition, occupation safety and health certificates were not provided for audit. In the circumstance, the value for the money has not been realized from the expenditure of Kenya 181,142,606, with the continued lapse in completion at that time. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. The management has taken note of the audit findings and wishes to state that the process to open the Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund.
Sorry, Governor. Senator Cherargei, what's the matter? Governor, we might just read the page number, page 20.
Page 20.
Okay, proceed.
The process to open the Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund has been initiated. However, the process stalled due to delayed approval by the Principal Secretary for National Treasury, as was directed by the Central Bank of Kenya. Consequently, in the circumstance, the management made use of the existing option of paying the financier through the county development account, and the process has been seamless. In addition, the county government occupied the main headquarters block to ensure continuity of service delivery, while works on the amphitheater, landscaping, and final finishes were still ongoing. The works are now completed. Further, occupational safety and health certification was not availed at the time of the audit because it was in the custody of the contractor, who later released it to the county officers and submitted for audit verification. Chairman, we have attached appendices 21A, which is the completion certificate and photographic evidence of the completed headquarter and auxiliary facilities, occupational health and safety certification, and correspondences on opening of the special purpose account. Thank you, Chair.
In your first paragraph on your response, you indicated that the process stalled due to delayed approval by the Permanent Secretary for the National Treasury, as was directed by the Central Bank of Kenya. What approval were you requiring from the Permanent Secretary for the National Treasury?
If you look at the appendices, the Chair, when we wrote to the Central Bank for purposes of opening a special purpose account in 21C, as is usually the procedure, the Central Bank wrote back, and the letter is attached there, citing provisions of the Constitution and asking that for us to open this account, they needed a no objection from the Principal Secretary for the National Treasury. After which we wrote to the Principal Secretary for National Treasury, and we have followed up physically as well but we have not been able to receive the feedback to allow us to open that special purpose account.
Was that a condition precedent? The approval of the National Treasury?
Chair, when we were doing our Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund Bill and Law, we sought advice from the Controller of Budget and from the National Treasury, and they gave us the requisite approvals. But in the Financing Act, the Fund Act, it indicates that we need to open a special purpose account, that money for this particular project moves from our CRF to that special purpose account to be accessed by CPF. So when we wrote to Central Bank to open the account, they referred us back to National Treasury. And we wrote back to National Treasury and they have not been able to give us that clearance.
The money that you paid, how did it move from CRF to be accessed by CPF?
So what we have been paying now is directly from the CRF to CPF without it passing through the special purpose account.
Yeah, Governor, before we go there, there's a letter from you, I think Solomon Obiero, to the Principal Secretary dated June 18th, 2024. First, I have a problem with the timing of that letter because I'm sure work had already begun on that project. You are requesting for an objection when you are almost done with the project. But where is the response from Treasury, from the PS of Treasury? Did you ever receive a response from them?
Not on the opening of the account, even though earlier on when we were doing the act itself, they had responded to give us consent to proceed.
Where is that correspondence? Because what you are calling a delay, in my view, is a denial.
No, the correspondence for purposes of the act is separate. But since that was not in the query, what was being queried was delay in opening of the special purpose account, and so we.
I only bring it up because you are the one who has attached this correspondence. We just like the letter from the central bank gives reasons why you cannot proceed without certain things. I want to know the reasoning of Treasury. And it's quite strange that even Homa Bay cannot get a letter of no objection from Treasury, and yet order, Senator Sifuna. I'm baffled.
Remember, Homa Bay and Senator Sifuna, we are one thing.
Yes, we are one thing, but I'm just wondering if there are people who should get letters quickly from Treasury, it's people of Homa Bay.
And I think as long as it's lawful, there shouldn't be a problem.
That's the point I'm making, Chair. Yeah. What the response talks about is a delay. But it is possible that it is a denial because there's a problem with this kind of arrangement. That's what I'm driving at.
Can we establish some things also so that we base it on facts? Auditor General, you are saying that the county government entered into an agreement, a tenant purchase agreement, on the 6th of May, 2024. Is that a fact? On the 6th of May, 2024?
Yes, sir.
The request for account opening were on the 27th of May, 2024. That's why I was asking whether the establishment of the fund was a condition precedent to execution of the contract. So it appears as if this was done after the contract had already been signed.
Chair, the fund and the account, the fund law and the special purpose account are two separate issues, because what was precedent for us to enter into this arrangement was that we needed to have a law to underpin the model of financing that we had entered into with CPF, which we did, and we received approvals from Treasury, and we received approvals from the Controller of Budget, and that was resolved.
The approval was on the law.
To proceed with the law.
With the law, but
yeah.
On the TPS itself.
Yes.
Was there correspondence to seek the views of Treasury on the tenant purchase scheme that was executed on 6th of May, 2024?
That was now supported by the law.
What's the link between the TPS and the law, so that we understand you may have more information.
I think
what's the relationship?
The county attorney can elaborate, but the law gives us the framework under which to proceed in the process that we did, but that's the county attorney.
Let's get that nexus.
Yeah.
So that even if you're arguing over the fund and accounts, we know that there's a relationship between the two.
And if this TPS is hinged on that law?
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. Chair, the law that...
for record purposes and hands-on purposes, just reintroduce yourself.
My name is Frederick Orego, County Attorney. Chair, we are making reference to the Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund Act, number 8 of 2023. And the area that you are making a question in respect of will be section 9 of that legislation. And it says, eligible, that is section 9, eligible infrastructure projects may be financed through any of the following means. A, tenant purchase scheme. B, finance leases or operating lease or lease to own. C, annuities. D, fees and levies paid by users and the beneficiaries as approved by the county assembly. E, income shares contract. And F, any other lawful means that is not considered as borrowing under Kenyan law. So that is section 9 of our legislation, and the tenant purchase scheme is the one under 9A. Thank you very much.
Are you saying there's absence of national legislation to govern loans and guarantees and annuities and tenant purchase schemes, such that you enacted legislation because there was no national legislation?
Chair, the legislation that you are referring to is the one that I have read.
No. I'm asking you as the county attorney.
Yes.
Because we have had this conversation earlier on the facility financing, that where there is national legislation that has taken care of a matter, county legislation cannot try to rewrite it. So I'm asking, in the PFM Act, PFM regulations, even in the Constitution, are there provisions that would govern how counties execute contracts like tenant purchase schemes?
And Chair, just as he takes that question, Wakili, there is a proviso you've read at the end there. Unfortunately, I don't have the benefit of a copy of that legislation. Just that proviso at the end that talks about things that are not considered borrowing. Is it my understanding that the things that you've listed prior to that proviso are not considered borrowing?
Yes, actually, the intention is to expressly exclude borrowing. And in fact, Chairman, the question that you've asked as to why we have come to this legislation is because we relied on Article 207, 2A, that allows a county government to set up legislation to allow for a charge on the CRF.
Just a minute, Wakili.
Yes.
Let's go slowly. Tutaelewana tu. You are saying the things you've read for us up there, including a tenant purchase scheme, is not considered borrowing.
I'm saying that the things that we have provided for in our legislation for 2023, the intention was to expressly exclude borrowing. Why? Because if you look at the Constitution, when you talk about borrowing, then you'll have to go to Article 212, which allows for borrowing of counties if there is legislation by the Parliament. So what we relied on was Article 207, 2A of the Constitution, which then was the legal constitutional basis for us to come up with this legislation, and listed all those items that are read under Section 9 of this legislation.
Wakili, that section you're referring to empowers you to establish funds, and that's okay. I think there's something reasonably excluded. That's okay. But the Constitution is not silent. In Article 212, it says a county government may borrow only if the national government guarantees the loan. The question we have on the table, did you take a loan? Is a tenant purchase scheme a loan?
No.
It's not even about the fund. Is a TPS a loan? For example, I have a TPS with NSSF. They charge an interest over 15 years. What I pay at the end of 15 years, I'll own the building. Is that a loan? Yes. I have been forced to take mortgage insurance over it. Would I take mortgage insurance if it wasn't a loan? So can we then define this animal we have? Is it a loan?
Yeah, and Chair, just to be clear, because sometimes things get lost in semantics. There are very basic ingredients of a loan.
Correct.
Number one, if the money building that house is not yours, it belongs to someone else and you have to repay it by whatever arrangement. That's the basic definition of a loan. So how can we be arguing on whether a TPS and there's an interest charged on it? It's not your money. You've taken it from someplace else. You are given opportunity to repay in installments. There is an interest that is charged on it. If that is not a loan in Homa Bay, I don't know where the borders of Homa Bay are, Chair. Because once you cross this side, that's a loan.
Look, Governor, and you see this is an extremely important point, not just for Homa Bay. The rest of the 46 counties have got serious infrastructural gaps. We went to Mombasa, they need 1.1 billion to build a stadium. If this is the right route, we will tell Mombasa, go to CPF, do that thing because it's within the law. You go to every other county, there is an infrastructural gap. So we must agree on the legal constitutional basis of this approach. And if we all agree this is a way to go, I think we'll advise other counties to come and benchmark in Homa Bay. So let's not talk about the fund, treasury, what. Is this a loan?
Chairman, the answer is no. This is a charge under Article 207(2)(a) of the Constitution.
Chair, can I
what do you just expound that a little bit? Because as we said that the framers of the Constitution decided to introduce Article 212 for good reason.
Yes, and that's what you were saying, Chairman. When we were coming up with this legislation, we consulted quite a bit. And the consultation was...
Chair, I think we are getting lost in semantics and time is running. Charge and a loan are the same thing. What does he mean by this is not a loan? It is a loan because if the bill that has been attached in Annex 21A, the CPF is indicating that they have used 820 million Kenyan shillings. So you must pay with an interest because even as we take a charge in our mortgage in Parliament and we pay 3% interest, and Governor Wanga was a member of Parliament here, and I don't know whether she took the mortgage, maybe she's better off now. But the point I'm trying to make is this cannot be money where you work to CPF, they give you 820 million, then you return 820 million. Is that what Wakil is telling us?
Chair.
Okay, Wakil, just take the questions from the Senator Ombua.
Thank you, Chair.
And I've not finished.
Chair.
Can I finish just 1 minute?
Okay.
Then
do it in a minute when you look at the time.
Two things I need here, the agreement that they signed between CPF and the county, and then how are they intending to repay? Is it securitization of the revenue or what? How are they intending to repay this amount? I yield back.
Thank you. Senator Ombua.
You know, Chair, the beauty of it is that our friend, the governor, when I look at our records, she was an effective chair of the finance committee in Parliament. So definitely she understands if there is a difference between a charge and a loan. The thing that, Chair, I want to get clearly from the attorney, so that we don't really get lost in semantics. Whose money has been used to put up the facility? Where's the attorney?
I can take that.
Okay. So you take a number of them, eh? So whose money has been used to build the facility? Secondly, is there a repayment of that money? Is there going to be a repayment of that money? And thirdly, is there an interest to be paid on the money that has been used? Now, Chair, if then the response is that somebody else's money has been used to put up the facility, and that the county government of Homa Bay will have to repay that money over a period of time, and there is an interest that is going to be charged on that money, then Then, Chair, it doesn't matter what you call that thing. It's a loan. That's what it is.
For me, Chair.
Okay, Senator Maruma.
Yeah, the TPS was anchored on the law called Homa Bay County Infrastructure Financing Fund. How is it possible to execute it without opening the SPA, the special purpose account? Because then, ab initio, the TPS started without following the law.
Chair, I was just trying to find the provision that establishes the central bank. But on this controversy, I think we can all agree that the central bank, as the chief bank of government and the one that sets policy for everyone else to follow, should be the guide, Chair, on what should have happened in this particular case. In fact, instead of stressing the county attorney there, the letter from the central bank dated June 11th, 2024, is for me instructive, Honorable Chair. If you go to actually both paragraphs, but I just want you to take note of what the central bank is saying at paragraph 2, that further as a standard practice, counties and indeed all the public entities at all levels of government requesting CBK to open special program accounts usually obtain and submit a very specific no objection letter from the National Treasury to operate those specified fund accounts. And the county, having been properly guided by the central bank, Honorable Chair, they needed to comply with those directives. And I don't think, because I have not seen the correspondence from Treasury, what I suspect, Honorable Chair, is if that correspondence exists, they would have been given the same guidance that you have given, that such arrangements require the guarantee of the national government. And that's why probably that letter is not here.
Okay, we can allow the governor to respond to the various issues, and we can make them quick fire responses because we are supposed to be out of here in another 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. I think Senator Mambua asked whose money was used for these purposes. This is county pensions money. It's our pensions kept by CPF coming back to invest, as pensions do across the world. Is there repayment? Yes, we make a monthly payment to the county pensions fund. Now not passing through the special purpose account because we have not been able to open it yet, but directly to CPF. Is there a cost of money? Yes, there is a cost of money embedded within the 820 million.
Just to be specific, is there an interest? That's what you are calling cost of money. And what is it?
The amount that we are paying as tenant purchase, we are paying the 820 million. So every amount has been worked in within that 820
So how much of that is interest? Because, you know, the conventional TPS is that you get a purchase price, but because you're paying over a period of time, an interest is levied. This seems to be the other way around.
So the purchase price for this, is
820.
Office is 820.
What is the annual interest?
No, that is what we pay to CPF.
So in the 820, how much is interest within the 820?
Chair, it would just
we are occupying a building done by CPF. We pay them an amount every month that will amount to 820 million.
Chair, if you want to know what the interest is, you just minus the cost of the project, the cost of the actual construction from the payment, 820. So I thought I saw a figure somewhere of the total cost of the project was how much? Not what you're paying.
It's 820.
The cost of the construction. Governor, you know how you are very clear on how much it costs to build a 2-door toilet in Kaksingri. How much does it take to put up that office block? Minus what you're paying, or minus from what you're paying, we will get the figure of the interest.
Correct.
It's that simple.
Okay.
Like Chairman, through you, the contract that was ink and paper, what was spent between CPF and the county, what was the figure?
820.
820.
Yes. So, Chairman, maybe what I could say is because the issue we were responding to, raised by the auditor, was the issue of the special purpose.
However, we have a responsibility to advise 46 other county governments.
Correct.
And that's why we must establish the constitutionality
process.
and the legality and how procedural this is.
No, Chair, we are not doubting the building. I know who opened it. So the issue is, I know who opened it. So the issue is the legality of the process.
You must have been present at the opening.
Yeah, personally, I suspect that there is absolutely no way that the county government of Homa Bay cannot know the amount of money that was put in that structure. It's not possible. I remember getting into an argument with one of the other governors who came here. I think she was talking about a hospital that was being built. I think it was Runyenjes or something like that. And they were saying even the BQs. There is someone in this team who has seen the BQs of that hospital and they know exactly how much. But because there is a cost of financing, Governor, so that if the procurement laws were followed, then you should have been telling the Senate and the people of Homa Bay, this is the best deal we could get you in terms of the cost of financing vis-a-vis the building that we are getting. Someone in that team has that answer.
I think the governor referred to the procurement team. Who's the head of procurement? Could you tell us, did you do a professional opinion on this?
Yes.
And just go on record, introduce yourself. Were you in the room when so do you even know what we are talking about?
Honorable Chair, I've been keenly following, so I know what.
Okay,
following on the.
Just introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Senator. My name is Peter Odiango, Head of Procurement, Homa Bay County, member KISM 667721. So kindly ask the question.
But you said you have been following. What question did you come to answer?
And Honorable Senator, until I reach the door,
No. Homa Bay is more, Governor, our county is more serious than this. Now, the question was, the tenant purchase agreement for the 820 million county headquarters, which procurement procedure was followed?
Honorable Senator, the Procurement Act, we have several procurement methods. And we use
tell us the one that was followed, because we must be out of here in 5 minutes.
We used an open tender method, and what we are doing is to do tenant purchase. And the Procurement Act also allows for lease and even TPS.
Don't tell us what the law says. It's in black and white. Just tell us what you did.
We used an open tender method.
Okay.
Yes.
Open tender, there were advertisements?
Yes.
There were how many respondents?
During pretender site visit, there were 5, but the final submission was done by one tenderer, which is CPF.
And you did a professional opinion on that?
Yes.
And that is all on record?
Yes.
As you tendered, what was the indicative cost of the project? Because we must know the cost of the project, then people bid, and then take the lowest bidder, but that bidder cannot be lower than the cost of that project.
The shared cost, which was floated by the tender, was over 900 million, but since the tender was won, we went and negotiated and came back to 20 million.
Members, we have 10 minutes to go to the House.
But just on that one, because the gentleman belongs to a professional body. I even heard him telling us the membership number. How is it that you do an estimate for the construction of the facility, and according to you, the person is floating the tender, the cost is 900 million. Then, because there is only one responsive tenderer, you sit down and reduce the cost of the project, renegotiate downwards. What did you eliminate from the project?
Those are details, honorable member, but we have minutes to that effect, so that we were.
Is that the way it works, Chair?
I thought he said that there was only one. The final person
yes
quoted 900.
Yes.
But you revised it down to 820.
Yes.
But what was your BQ?
We did not have a BQ because what you wanted.
Oh, so you took anything that was available in the market?
Honorable Chair, I wish you could listen to me. When you want to purchase a space, even here, you only give the specification of what you want.
I want a room, this measurements, and
Chair, just on a point of order, looking at time, we are not in a classroom. Just answer specific question.
He's going well, Senator.
No, we
need to be specific.
we love expressing our English, so just understand, my friend.
But looking at time and English, it doesn't add up. So the point I'm trying is, we are just specific, Chair. You have asked a question, was there a big queue?
No, he was explaining something and we have follow-up questions. I think, Chair, you allow him to proceed.
Okay, please, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Here we like to give people enough rope to hang themselves.
Honorable Chair, what we had done in the document is that we wanted an office block. It's, in simple terms, we wanted somewhere to sit, like this room. So we give specification of what you want. Then the owner of the room will give their price, what they can offer. So we had specification of exactly what we needed, and that's what we had put in the tender document.
Did you have a budget? Because the budget then drives the kind of stuff you're looking for.
Yes,
here in Nairobi, you can decide to sit at Delta, you can decide to sit in Lavington, or you can decide to sit on River Road, depending on your budget.
Yes.
So when you went to market, what was your budget?
Also, Chair, because when you're building a county headquarters, you're essentially looking for a space that can accommodate the county executive. You know your staff establishment, the sort of numbers of the people that you need. You can't just say you're looking for a space to sit, because the ultimate intention, from what I gather, is to have one central place where the entire county government is. Yes. So that cannot be something that is left to the tenant purchase service provider, that I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house and then he tells me he has a 2-bedroom in Buruburu.
Maybe before he answers that particular question, the county secretary was at the forefront of providing, it was a very detailed process. Maybe we haven't expressed it well enough. Because of the magnitude of the project, we wanted to cover every ground. So I want to ask the county secretary on the question that Senator is asking around the issue of, did we just go and say we want a space? Because I remember we had several meetings with officers, departments, cabinet, everybody. County secretary, just on that specific one.
County secretary, just in 2 minutes.
Professor.
Thank you, Chair. What we did first was to assess the number of people that need to occupy this space. And we looked at all those who need to sit at the headquarters. We are not including those who are sitting at the sub-counties. And then from there, we knew also different cadres of officers. We have the CCMs, we have the chief officers, we have the directors, and we gave very specific instruction on what a director office need to look like, what CEC office need to look like. And based on this, we counted all the spaces that are required, plus the number of people who are required, and that's what we put in the tender.
But in your mind, you didn't have, because if you have all those specifications, then you cannot fail to have a cost specification.
For money, it'll go to the chief officer, the CC, but mine was to how many people need to sit there, what type of space that they need, and from there we could do the estimates.
Members, I think also for neatness of this, we must set up a separate meeting.
And also the county pension fund must be here.
Yeah, we must set up a separate meeting, because we might come to conclusions without interrogating all the facets. We must look at the legality and the constitutionality of this approach, and we must also look at the procurement elements, and we must thoroughly test this model such that if we find it to be lawful and constitutional and prudent, we can make a recommendation to other counties to follow the same model. I believe we'll be better off as a Senate, or the people of Homa Bay will be better off if we have a proper detailed inquiry where the procurement officer is not just talking off the cuff, is talking on the basis of professional documents, professional opinions, and procedures that were adhered to. I don't know what you feel.
And Chair, when I looked at the profile of the county secretary, he's a professor, an engineer. I thought that should be more detailed, but then time doesn't allow. Really, we start with the architectural design, then engineer's estimates and everything. I thought would give us that. But as Chair, you rule that let's have opportunity to give the county government enough time to explain this model, because then that can be given to other counties to also use to have their infrastructure in place.
Yeah, if time was on our side, we would have spent more time on it. But
include the county pension fund, they should be here. And also the issue of repayment, because that has not been answered, Chair. And also
you asked something around securitization.
Securitization of revenue and how that payment will be done. And I have seen the report also of health and occupation. It is just one page, so I don't know. There is a principle of wezi kama hata kama wewe ni kinyozi wezi jinywa. I've seen the department that approve occupation is a part of the departments in the county. So maybe those are questions we can further inquire into.
Fine.
So that when Wambua becomes the governor, he can borrow this model.
Senator Wambua?
Yeah. Cherage and your obsession with me becoming governor is now, I don't know. So Chair, I think first of all, we must also, Governor Gladys, you know, these are 2023 arrangements, if I got it right. Personally, from where I sit, I must give it to you that between 2023 and 2026, 2025, you have a block. I mean, let's begin from there. Yeah, there are counties like some that are seated next to me that started their projects.
You know, you can't compare. I'm sorry to say.
I thought Sifuna is also sitting next to Wambua. I don't know why you're jittering.
Don't compare. By the way, credit to Homa Bay. You know, if you go to Nyamira, we started our county headquarters in 2013. We have spent close to what she has spent, but we have nothing. So I'm just sitting here.
Let me finish and that's why if this is the right model, we can export it to other
by
countries.
the way, this gentleman, the lawyer, should read.
Have you taken the floor from me?
Should read. You know, if you read how United States acquired Louisiana, it was purchased by Thomas Jefferson in 1803, and he was faced with what I had the gentleman trying to explain: the strict or liberal interpretation of the Constitution. Because Jefferson needed to summon Congress to authorize his borrowing. But he thought because America needed to acquire that territory and River Mississippi, he bought the territory and sought to explain to Congress what he did later. I think that's what Governor Homa Bay has done. So let's say if
I thought he was being helpful.
if in all fairness, you know, if you pick the case of Homa Bay and the case of Nyamira, if the case of CPF can work the way it has worked, if it can deliver an office within 6 months, I'd rather go this route than go through what is happening in Nyamira. We don't have county headquarters. We are housed by the county, how do you call them? The provincial administration, then the county commissioner. That's where we are housed.
Senator Wambua, take back your mic.
So I agree with you that let's interrogate this.
All angles.
If CPF can deliver within 6 months, I'll pick that model.
That's okay. Now, what we say after this may not be on record because it's already 2:30. So I was trying to say, Governor, for bringing up that facility within that period of time, and it's there. You know, it's not a ghost. It's there. It's a facility. I think for that, really, you must be commended. But then, you know, there is a process, and it will be very good for you to come at some point and talk to us as a Senate on that process that you used and see whether that process can also be used in other counties. Nyamira is talking here. If Nandi starts to speak, you will hear very interesting things. But really, we must also stick to the law. You know, there is a law and the law must be followed. So, Chair, let's find time to engage on this issue. If for me, where I sit, if this is a model that can be used, when I become what Senator Cherage always keeps saying I will become, then I can use this model to do a lot of things. So let's just be sure that we are on the right side of this.
Yeah, unlocking domestic resources, particularly from pension funds, it's a big conversation, even in the global arena. a lot of pension fund money sits idle, and we can be creative around it. But as we said, it must be in compliance with the law. Now, do we agree that this is an important matter that goes beyond Homa Bay County, that would require us to have a conversation, find out from Treasury why they didn't give the no objection letter, find out from CPF their perspective of the matter, and also from the county government of Homa Bay, and if there's any other county government, Article 201, Article 212, and all those things. This requires a separate inquiry. We have dealt with just a few of the issues that were in the report. There were one or two other things that we would have dealt with if time allowed. We would have wanted to look at your on-source revenue report, which is fairly good compared to other counties. We would have wanted to find out the measures you are putting in place to deal with the 55% that you're paying on HR and a few other residual matters. We will advise on how we'll deal with those matters, because I know the auditors are almost coming for the in-year audit. I don't know whether they're coming this month or next month.
Sure, it's this month. We have already started in some of the end clients.
Yes,
it's in progress.
So we'll advise you, because some of these things can be within the scope of the audit for 25-26. There are a number of prior year matters that we have not dealt with that are still outstanding. The projects, the Kigoto, the animal feed project, all that. Let's make sure that they don't get lost in your audit for 25-26. But this one on the tenant purchase scheme is something that is topical that we must deal with even as the audit goes on. Honourable members, any closing remarks, or we allow the governor to make closing remarks? When I look at the time, we are 4 minutes out of time. Governor?
Thank you very much, Chairman and Honourable Senators. I want to thank you very much for the discussions that we have had. Every time we come to the Senate, it's a learning experience. On this matter of the infrastructure financing, from a county government perspective, I think it is a matter to be looked into further. As I said, there was a lot of detail that went in and even a lot of detail after. But there's always that external eye that looks, which is the Senate. And I think if we have an opportunity to have a conversation with CPF, Treasury, and everybody else, then we will see that we have a big window. Right now, many counties are in discussions with CPF to progress this model. So if there are any gaps, I think it is important for us to have that conversation and be in agreement so that we progress in a way that we know is lawful and covers every ground. So, but instead of pension funds just sitting, especially just sitting, it is a very, very good way to use it to do hospitals, to do other major infrastructure that you cannot do on the piecemeal money that we get every month. Thank you so much, Chairman and the Senators, for having given us this time. We are always available, accountable, and willing to learn as we progress in this PFM space.
Well, I want to acknowledge the County Assembly for doing the right thing in terms of considering the audit reports. We will look at your report as we also compile ours, and also the delegation that came with the governor. I come from Homa Bay, and I would never pray for Homa Bay to fail. I would always want Homa Bay to succeed. Even as I sit here as the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, the questions we ask, the inquiries we make, are with a view to ensuring that Homa Bay succeeds. Because if Homa Bay succeeds, I also succeed. If the county government of Homa Bay fails, there will be nobody to understand that I was at the Senate and the governor was at the county level. So let's look at it as a partnership, and let's look at Senate as a place where perhaps there could be sometimes hard questions, but they're hard questions that allow you to reflect and allow you to maybe adjust your sails or continue doing the right things that you're doing. I hope that out of this session, there'll be one or two things that you'll go back and rectify. But I also believe that my colleagues could have picked one or two things that are happening in Homa Bay, that those of us who wish to be in the Council of Governors in the next year, you could pick one or two things that is happening in Homa Bay and use it as a template. Due to time, we shall leave it at that. We wish you a safe journey back home. We shall communicate on when we will be having this conversation on the infrastructure financing. The meeting is adjourned. The committee meets on Thursday at 9 a.m.